nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy. And silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders, like moving boulders just to get out of the home. It sucks, I've had enough, I don't wanna feel the stuck under the rug, all my problems that I shove. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. It sucks when you finally feel like giving up. Oh God, no luck, everything feels like you're sticky stuck. I'm lost, handcuffed to the bed where I sleep, don't give a fuck. Can't stop, unplug, feeling overwhelmed, I think I've had enough. Gotta find a way to get some energy, gotta find someone who's a good friend of me. I need purpose to make it all worth it, I'm still searching and I'm still learning. I want a life that's filled with memories, not a life with regret in front of me. I need focus to keep me from hopeless psychosis if I keep moping. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy. And silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders, like moving boulders just to get out of the home. It sucks, I've had enough, I don't wanna feel the stuck under the rug, all my problems that I shove. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. It sucks when you finally feel like giving up. Oh God, no luck. Everything feels like you're sticky stuck. I'm lost, handcuffed to the bed where I sleep. Don't give a fuck, can't stop. Unplug, feeling overwhelmed. I think I've had enough. Gotta find a way to get some energy. Gotta find someone who's a good friend of me. I need purpose to make it all worth it. I'm still searching and I'm still learning. I want a life that's filled with memories, not a life with regret and frenemies. I need focus to keep me from hopeless psychosis if I keep moping. I got nightmares in my head. I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head. I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I got nightmares in my head. I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. Anxiety filling up every space, no privacy. And silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn, no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders, like moving boulders just to get out of the home. It sucks, I've had enough, I don't wanna feel the stuck under the rug, all my problems that I shove. I got nightmares in my head. I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head. I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. It sucks when you finally feel like giving up. Oh God, no luck. Everything feels like you're sticky stuck. I'm lost, handcuffed to the bed where I sleep. Don't give a fuck, can't stop. Unplug, feeling overwhelmed. I think I've had enough. Gotta find a way to get some energy. Gotta find someone who's a good friend of me. I need purpose to make it all worth it. I'm still searching and I'm still learning. I want a life that's filled with memories, not a life with regret and frenemies. I need focus to keep me from hopeless psychosis if I keep moping. I got nightmares in my head. I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head. I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough. Nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I got nightmares.
Yes, people, big up to all of you. Welcome back to Chelsea's Perspective. Welcome to another edition of the Blue Morning Show. Yes, it's still 10:09 a.m. Las Vegas time. I do hope you're all doing well. And we're here to talk about Chelsea's away win at 3 Points Lane, or you could call it a Tottenham Stadium if you prefer. But yeah, ask Marcos Alonso, and he will tell you that some things just never changes. Never change, if that makes sense. But I appreciate you all for finding the time to be part of the conversation today. Hopefully, I'll get more panelists to join me so you can get diversified opinion and not just listen to I alone waffle here. But despite the way, what do we have here before we get into the match review exercise proper? It'd be only fair to look at what you have there. We need to work on our defense. Definitely, that's the case. You could argue Tottenham could have scored a lot more, but that's when you take a step back and look at it. Yeah, that's when things like that happen when the players you have aren't experienced enough. Yeah, on two occasions now we've seen that, but I'd say that such shouldn't be happening with Tosin because he's experienced. He's one of our most experienced players, one of our oldest players to be. We use both interchangeably, but it matters to mention both. In this case, he should be experienced enough to know that you should be advancing towards the ball and not be static waiting for it to come to you, especially if you're a defender and when you don't know what's happening around you. We've seen such mistakes on two occasions, one from Tosin in the game before the last one, and then in our last game, Levi Cowell made the same mistake. Wasn't He didn't make a move towards the ball. He stood and was waiting for it to get waiting for the ball to get to him, and Dominic Solanke read the situation very well, and yeah, ran to his front and slotted it in perfectly, in my opinion. But that's by the way, big up to you to Tamida Alua me. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join us. Coach, who's that music? Nefex, Neffex. Yeah, lots of he has lots of free songs on Google Music, Google Creator Music to be more specific. But I think you should be able to find his songs on if you use Google Music. Yep, he's a good rapper. I'd say actually underrated. In all honesty, but to me, that nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. Without wasting much of your time, and I do have my bro here. How did I even skip that? My bro, Blue Clouds of Media, Knee Zion. I appreciate you. Greetings to you too. If you're watching, I'm not sure what has happened tonight, but the commands don't work anymore. So it makes it difficult for me. But here's the thing, it's easy. Just click the three dots by Nizion's Blue Class Media's name. Then you see an option to visit the YouTube channel. Do so and be sure to subscribe to his YouTube channel to help him get to 5,000 subscribers as soon as possible. I know we can help him get there. But that's by the way, big up to you too. Anything else here? Nothing. Up to uh, I just have to go to the presentation window to start addressing the items we have lined up here. I didn't know I lost my screen sharing. Apologies for that. I'll bring it up. I'll bring it back up in a bit. I think this is the window that I'm looking for. This one in particular. All right, keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. We have seven people following the show on YouTube, about 43 or so, or 44 on X. If you're following the show on X, take a second, drop a like on the video for us. Share the video on X. Also, follow our X account to help us get to reach 5,000 followers as soon as possible. Let's see what else do we have here. Yep, I've told you who that is already. Nefex is his name, spelled Neffex. Yep, he's an excellent rapper. He can sing too very well. Underrated in my opinion. If you listen to his lyrics, also, it depends on your situation. Some of them do speak are relatable in my opinion. Let me just use that simplified language there. Greetings from Michigan, brother. I hope y'all all are doing well. We're doing well. I do hope you and yours you're all doing well too. And thank you for joining us. Sorry, I tried to trigger the comment so that the robot that polices the chat uh, will direct people to your channel. I'm not sure why it's not working. Maybe I need to recreate the commands. For some reason, it has refused to work, or maybe Nightbot, the robot itself, is has gone AWOL, has gone absent without leave. But that's why we keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. As I promised, we will start. I wouldn't call it news hunting, but there are some interesting items there that I'd like us to address. Some of them will be comments from football commentators and also pundits alike, with regard to how well we did against Tottenham on their own carpet, to be more specific. The first item here is uh, quoting Enzo Maresca, a comment about Jadon Sancho. Enzo Maresca saying that he's impressed by Jadon Sancho, but not only with him on the ball, also the way he is defending. He's not been long at Chelsea, but he's improved so much already. And the second paragraph reads him, Pedro Neto, it is not just about goals and assists. It's about the way they walk off the ball, the sacrifice, top job from all of them. They've been excellent, both on the ball and off the ball. Pedro Neto, I've been paying attention to that myself. He's done really well. It's not just focused on the offensive side of the game. He tracks back effectively. During corner kicks, you'd see him either close to our box or inside the box defending. It depends on the situation. But both I've been impressed by Jadon Sancho too, because up close I've been able to see that aspect of his game. The fact that he's not just focused on attacking, he also does pay attention to what's going on the defensive side of the game, and knowing when to track back or to be in the box to contribute defensively. And thank goodness that's coming from the manager itself. I'm not just making that up myself. But keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes to go along with, so I'm happy. And look how much you will be paying for him. Was it 20? I think at most 26 million pounds. That's a steal. Given how good he is, he's an excellent dribbler, has excellent passing range, good vision, and if you make a run at Jadon Sancho, he'd be one of those to see you before anybody else on the pitch. He's that good. Yep, got it. Netflix. Yeah, he's a good artist. Yep, excellent rapper, singer too, writer too. I think he writes his own songs. But that's why. Well, let's move on to the next item we have lined up here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. This is a snapshot of our players' statistics on that day. Lavia was really good in the first 45 minutes. I think if it wasn't for the yellow card, I think I wouldn't. Again, I think the manager could have. You could say he would have finished the game, but on a yellow, Lavia will not be the same, definitely, because a part of his game is putting in the tackles, being aggressive. So it would have been, you could say, could have been a huge risk to see him on the pitch with a yellow card, risking him getting a second yellow and then being sent off on the day, which could have cost us a lot of issues. But a brilliant player he is. I'm glad the manager made the decision to take him off and not to risk him getting a second yellow, and then in turn being leaving the pitch, and we'll finish the game with 1 man down, if that makes sense. So this a snapshot of the players' statistics. Let's look at it. I hope I haven't clicked anything so it doesn't move away from this window. Match stats. Most clearances, Levi Cowell 2. I mean, 2 is not. If you read the title, you think that he made like 45, 50, or maybe a ton of clearances. But yeah, the most is still the fact that he made the most clearances is still something to pay attention to. Most tackles, Romeo Lavia, 3 in total, even though he didn't finish the game. So yeah, it would have been a risk to leave him on the pitch with the yellow. I don't think he'd be as effective as he was before the yellow, because he'd be cautious, and if he isn't, he'd end up receiving the second yellow and then in turn be sent off in that game. Highest pass rate, Romeo Lavia, also 100% pass accuracy. Wow. And again, he did not finish the game. So that's something to pay attention to. Most interceptions, but then again, 100%. We'd have to deep you can say dig deep to know again, if you didn't watch the game, you'd be concerned whether some of the passes were just a safe option passes where he again going sideways or backwards, but whether they're all progressive passes. We'll eventually do that as the show progresses, because we get to looking at the numbers for each player. Most interceptions, Romeo Lavia also. Wow, that's one, two, three metrics. And again, he did not finish the game. That highlights, that's reflective of how well he did on the day. Most passes, Levi Cole 62 in total. A successful dribbles, Cole Palmer 4 in total. Most chances created, Cole Palmer 4 in total. So yeah, with the penalties and all that, I think if with these numbers, looking at these numbers now, I think it makes a sense why Cole Palmer won man of the match. A lot of people were questioning why he won man of the match. Some suggesting that it should have been what's his name, Jadon Sancho, and I think one of the players mentioned that today. But it doesn't really matter. We won. The players showed character. They showed a mental strength. Because 2-0 down, I'm quite sure a lot of Chelsea fans thought that was it. That we're definitely losing that game, but they showed that they've come a long way. They're maturing by each game, and I'm happy. We're making excellent progress. Just like the manager, he said in the past, yeah, he knew that we'd eventually get there, but he's surprised at how quickly we're getting there. If that makes sense. A virtual Oath Studios. Nice to see you. Our centre backs are a bit shaky, along with goalkeeper. Here's the thing. Um, there are three things Chelsea need to do to become better. One, sign a centre back. Two, sign a centre back. And three, sign a centre back. Yeah. I'm seeing Houston. If it wasn't for how shaky we were defensively yesterday, you could argue the two goals we considered were down to um, uh, Mark Cucurella slipping on two occasions, and how well he did after changing his boots showed that indeed his boots were the reason why what happened. But that's, by the way, we move on from that. My point is Houston, we need centre backs. I've seen even from a player as experienced as Tosin was waiting for the ball to get to him rather than advance towards the ball, which could have made a difference. Had he done that, that's the game before our last game. Had he done that, who was that scored that goal on that day? Let me just use the opposition player. Couldn't have gotten to the player, got to the ball before Tosin. He'd have to go through Tosin to get to the ball. And the same thing happened yesterday with Levi Cohen. The first goal that from our academy graduate, Dominic Salenke scored. Had Levi Cohen advanced towards the ball, just a beat, just make a move towards the ball, that could have been enough to stop Dominic Salenke from getting to the ball. And if the Salenke, he'd have to get through Levi Colwell before getting to the ball. And that's lack of experience. But Houston, maybe by the time the season ends, or by the time maybe we get to January, that improve enough that we I know that be no need for us to sign another centre back. Because I've heard also that what's his name, Anselmino, the Argentine international. Is he played? I don't know if he's played for the Argentine senior team. He's joined us. Maybe he'd be enough to solve the issue. But we do need to sign centre backs. If the manager doesn't trust Tosin, then we do need to sign centre backs. We looked so shaky. Yeah, that I knew our defensive, you say, issues will probably be our biggest issue on the day, and it turned out to be that way. Yep, we played the midfield was excellent. We've always known that we have a very potent attacking line, but we've always known, yeah, also that we defensively we were suspect, if that makes sense. Let's see what else we have here. But nice to see you, brother. We need another CB. That was by the Chile, but the Chile struggled. I don't know. He, he on occasions was lucky that the opposition didn't cut off his pass and then hit us on the break with it. I'm not sure why that has happened. Could that be down to the structure? I don't know. I've watched the game like 3 times to learn from it, and yeah, our defensive line. Oh my goodness, we were lucky. I'd still say again, irrespective of whether we consider 2 more goals. Had that happened, chances are we'd score a lot more because it looks like the moment we concede, the more motivated the players seem to be. But we could have considered at least 4 goals actually, but they were wasteful. And in the end, I'd still say, yeah, a deserved win for us, irrespective of whether Tottenham could have scored a lot more. But that's by the way, people keep dropping the likes on the screen. The likes do go a long way. We have a total of 113 people following the show, but only 16 of those on YouTube. If you're following the show on YouTube, kindly do us a favor, drop a like on the stream to help us garner more likes, which will in turn trigger the YouTube algorithm and get it to push the stream to more people who'd be interested in the topics we have lined up here. But nice to see you, Badishile. Was ball watching, not even ball watching alone. On occasion, but he did well. He did relatively well, I must say. The timing of his passes, it looks like it takes some a bit too long to decide on what direction to pass the ball to. And yeah, I'm not sure what has happened to him. It didn't look as if he was confident enough, but he did good enough job on the day, in my opinion. But I think Tosin, I should be starting. We could have been better off. You could say I'd rather see a pairing of either Badia Shile, Levi Cowell, and Tosin. Tosin, he reads the game better than the two than Badia Shile and Levi Cowell, in my opinion. That wasn't a good mix. But for some reason, the manager maybe um, just resting Tosin for our next game. Because yeah, in the absence of Wesley Fafana, we're 1 man down in our with regards to our defensive numbers. To be more specific, centre backs. Sanchez needs to be dropped. Whether that happens, honestly, I'm not sure whether that's going to happen. Atiba Salifa says, Coach, if we get Thomas Araujo, let me read that again. Thomas Araujo, in the summer, we will be as press resistant as prime Barca. Araujo is like Romeo Lavia as centre back. And that's serious, really. Charity FC, of course. You can argue, as I've said before. Let me just say that again. Charity FC, do I think it still exists? Possibly, I'm not sure, but I stick with what I've said before. If anything, Charity FC is not in good health, and the signs are good. Hopefully, it passes away, and yeah, and we're not going to hear about it again. We missed Fafana yesterday. I'd say even Tosin. In my opinion, Tosin could have done a better job than the two. Again, if we paired him with either of the two left centre backs that started yesterday, but you also have to pay attention to the application. That's important. Whether he'd be able to operate effectively as a right centre back I don't know really. A big up to you too, Vic. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you finding the time to join the show this particular morning. More likes, people. More likes. I appreciate you all. Let's get the likes up. So this is good. Good signs. It was a good game. Deserved win for us. But the truth remains, we could have considered a lot more had it not been the fact that Tottenham, they were wasteful, irrespective of what you think. So 17-year-old Esther Willian had a season to remember in the Brasileiro, in the Brazilian top league. I can't pronounce that correctly, so I'd be better off not trying to pronounce it. Breakthrough Player Award, Best Striker Award, second in the league with Palmeiras, a third top scorer in the league, most goal and assist, 22 in total in a season before turning 18. And a few was it a few months ago we learned that he broke Neymar's record in the Brazilian top league. What a player he is! Such a talent. I'm not concerned. I know again if we manage him properly, he will definitely uh, reach the level that we all believe he can. What a talent he is! As small as he is, you can't muscle him off the ball easily, and he doesn't dive unnecessarily because usually that's something that's very common with players who's you could say who of his stature maybe who are not big maybe but that I think that's the more relatable language right there. But I'm happy we signed him. The question is whether he represents us in the Club World Cup or Palmeiras. The last time we had that conversation, we learned that yeah he'd be representing Palmeiras in the Club World Cup and then join us after that competition. But uh more importantly, he's a Chelsea player, irrespective of what clubs he decides to. Again, he represents at the Club World Cup. Let's see what else do we have. Yeah, more likes. People keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. Nathan missing a Brentford game is a shame. I don't trust Madueke. Chelsea should what you look at Houston. Let's talk about NATO. He wasn't as effective as usual, maybe. I think, but he did well enough. But I expected a lot more from him. That's a small opinion, but we'll look at the numbers and see how each player did on the day. Let's see. And I haven't heard that he's suspended. Actually, I haven't heard anything. I don't know when. How many games in total? Our boy Esteban Williams has just won the Young Player of the Year and Best Attacker of the Brazilian League. Yeah, what a talent he is, and I can't wait for him to stop representing Chelsea. Why is Neto out of Brentford's game? I don't know. You ask Nemanja that. Nemanja, can you elaborate? I I don't think he's suspended. If anything, if the manager rotates, then yeah, he'd miss the next game. So not because he's accumulated 5 yellow cards or so. But let's hear you, Nemanja. You talked to he has 5 yellows. I that was quick. If that's truly the case, really. But we'll find out in a bit. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show this particular morning. So it's time for news hunting. We'll go news hunting to see if anything new, if there's something that be of interest to us, then we'll talk about them. Let's see something we started doing. Sorry that I didn't do that. Let's hear what Chelsea fans are saying. The comments from Chelsea fans are on that. Estava Williams, wow, Estava Williams' um, statistical presentation. Okay, let's see. What a player! I cannot wait for you to get here with us. Okay, that's one. What else do we have here? Enzo Maresca adding Estava Williams to the current Chelsea squad. Yeah, but that's not good. I'd interpret that as overcooking, but you get what that person there what they mean. Hendrick did all these too and couldn't even hack it in La Liga. Hendrick is different, and in my opinion, I've always said that Estevão Willian is a much better player than Hendrick. Hendrick, you could argue, has a better PR machine, and that's the reason why he's hyped. They hyped him so much. You think that yeah, we're signing the inferior of the two players, but actually we signed the better of the two players. Hendrick isn't even technique. You can say this is he is him. Estevão Willian is a more technically gifted of the two players. Hendrick is more like what I call a power player. We're so waiting for Estevão at Chelsea. What a player! Excitement. You could sense that. This kid is seriously something else. Palmeiras got a real gem on their hands, a future star for future. Palmeiras got a gem. Chelsea got a gem, not Palmeiras. The good thing is that 2025 is almost here, just a month away Right. Yeah. The beautiful thing is the 2025 is not far away. So Chelsea fans are excited. And I am too. I have to be honest with you. Did we miss comments here? Let's see what Chelsea fans has to say with this statistical uh, presentation here with regards to player performances, who's leading what metrics. John Terry is a happy man about what? Because of Colwell. Anything else interesting here? One of our own, he was superb. Dude, to the first half. Okay, we're just good. Okay, that's it. Let's go news hunting. But keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all. We have a total of 130 people following the show, but only 21 on YouTube. The rest on X, but we still do appreciate you all. Let's see, what do we have here? NATO will mix next match, and we have and we have five other key players who could potentially fall into same category. Next game, okay, something. Okay, we have six players who got four yellow cards already. Can you name them? All right, big up to you too, Mabas05, my Iraqi bro. Nice to see you. I am happy with Chelsea winning. He says he's happy with Chelsea winning against Spurs, but we'll still need a goalkeeper. We'll get to that in a bit. Okay, let's go news hunting. Then we'll come back to the game. Try as much as you can to keep the topics aligned. Otherwise, I will assume that you're having a good conversation with a member of the community, which you have every right to do. That's why we're here. But if you want me to address your comment, keep it aligned. Interesting here. Yeah. Uh, that's as funny as we view that moment that Jackson stopped Enzo Fernandez from taking off his shirt. I think he did something important there. It costs money. You have to pay for each yellow card that your team receives. Plus, yeah, I appreciate Jackson for doing that. As funny as it was, he did good, in my opinion. Let's see what else we have here. Vicky saying, Enrique already scored 21 goals at the. At easy coach Madrid is a difficult place. Even at that, let's be honest. I'm not saying Endrick is a bad player. I'm not saying he's a bad player. I have never said he's a bad player. What I said is this: Estevão Willer is a much better player than Endrick. He's more technically gifted than Endrick. Endrick is more of what I call a power player, but that's a small opinion anyway. And I know you understand what I mean by that. Let's see. Madrid. Okay, they okay. Jabulani, nice to see you. Them boys uh, did all of us a great win against Spurs yesterday. However, I still believe we need Gyökeres to sharpen our front line to assist Jackson, who is good but not as lethal. I mean, that's a good comment right there. All right, let's see what else we have here. Okay, that's an opinion. We've addressed the statistical that particular statistical presentation of player performances. Michael, yeah, I knew it was going to be a lot of commentaries right there. Chelsea's record at Tottenham, their new stadium actually. How many? One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, 8 games, and they're out of 8 games on their carpet, on Tottenham's own carpet. We've won one, two, three, four, five, 6 times, drawn one, and lost just one. They need to go get the Pope to pray for them in that stadium. And I'm serious. Wow. I'm not sure how else to see it. We've been paying their bright price every season. Every season. And oh my goodness, that's serious. Okay, let's see what else we have here. Robert Sanchez, man, I'm not gonna read that out. But yeah, he he makes a lot of mistakes, and I don't like that. But I'm not the manager. So commentary also from former Tottenham player. Anything else here to address? Otherwise, we'll move on. Yeah, a lot of people speaking. They're not speaking negatively about Enzo Fernandez anymore. But I don't want to get into that argument because yeah, I'll fall out with a lot of my friends. Let's see. Nothing else here. Nothing interesting here. Okay, let's just read this Copama about Copama 5 hours ago. Let's get there. Cole Palmer versus Tottenham. Most goals two. Most dribbles four. Most key passes four in total. Most fouled four times. Most duels won eight in total. I mean, he was excellent on the day. Let's read wonderful player comments from Chelsea fans here. What else do they have to say here? Dues won or more. That must be Nigerian there. Okay, my boy winning dues. But that's is reflective of the fact that he does a lot more than just attack. But of late, actually, you could argue he's improved even defensively. That has always been part of the game. Let's see, part of his game, so to speak. Let's see what else we have here. That simple act by Jackson. But Jackson there last night was credit worthy. Trust me. I think a lot. If, as funny as again as he was, I think he did a good thing. Honestly, we shouldn't take that for granted. Looking out for each other because he knows that yeah, he's going to get a yellow for doing that. And Enzo probably in the moment realized quickly why Jackson was trying to stop him from taking his shirt off, and Dean eventually do that. So that makes me happy. Carroll is a legend. Okay. Let's see, what else do we have here? Jamal is saying, Coach, what's your take on Lukeba, who plays for some top club in Germany? Some top club in Germany? And Hein, who plays central defenders for Sweden, as players we should sign to strengthen our back line. I don't know them. I've heard their names, but probably I haven't paid attention to them. But that's just me anyway. Maybe if you know them well enough, talk about them and I'll research them. And I'm not into watching YouTube clips and then gaslighting people into believing a player is good. I need to see a lot more. I'm not into basing my judgment with regards how a player is by just watching YouTube clips. I like to watch players 90 minutes, not just one game, multiple games to be able to defend them. And that's why when I defend players, I defend them till the end because I know them well enough to say, yeah, they're good. This is the reason why they're struggling. We should do this to get the best out of them. The reason why Chelsea signed Morelos in August, can we keep the topic aligned? Otherwise, I will assume you're having a good conversation with someone in the chat. Bobby, nice to see you. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. Sanchez needs to be replaced. Trouble is who's out there to replace him. Perhaps it's time to revisit Petrovic next summer or simply try Jorgensen. I think Jorgensen is a better goalkeeper than Petrovic. He has good reflexes. He's excellent on the ball. Hardly ever panics on the ball. And I think if we're going, let's say, if we're measuring, comparing their concentration level, I think he is miles ahead of Robert Sanchez because you could argue Sanchez's biggest issue is lapses in concentration, or maybe it takes him a while to decide where to pass the ball to, and doesn't realize when the passing lane available to him, when opposition players close on the passing lane available to him, he still don't realize he doesn't realize that that's the case and still would want to pass the ball through that passing lane, leading to the opposition blocking his passes in most cases. But Jorgensen, I think he reads the game better than Sanchez, in my opinion, as well as Sanchez has done for us since the start of the season. That is a huge issue, that the fact that he averages at least a single mistake per game, irrespective of how good his reflexes is, irrespective of how good his distribution can be. But that lapses in concentration, I think, is a huge problem. And his thing, Jorgensen, I think we've compared their numbers actually. Jorgensen is an excellent shot stopper. He's good on the ball. He just needs to be given more time in the Premier League, in my opinion. He has again good. His good distribution is good enough, in my opinion. And the more opportunity you give him, the better he'd become at it, in my opinion. And he's fearless. His fearless. That's sort of fearlessness that Petr Cech had. He can do anything to stop the ball from getting into the back of the net, even if it means throwing himself and get kicked in the process. He does that, and I'm quite sure we've all seen that. But that's my opinion anyway. We'll see what happens. I don't think we need to sign another goalkeeper. And if you've done your research, the kid that plays in the Belgium league, um, he's huge. He's good with his feet. He has good passing range, and he's an excellent shot stopper too. What's his name again? Pendas. What's his first name? Is it Mike? But Pendas is his last name. Pendas is an excellent. So it's an excellent shot stopper. Good in the ball. Good distribution. Good passing range. So I honestly do not think we need to sign another goalkeeper. But then again, disclaimer, that's just my opinion. I don't think we need to sign another one. Jorgensen can mature to become an excellent goalkeeper. Pendas, he has it in him, irrespective of the fact that he's still very young. How much is actually Pendas? Let me quickly check this. How old is a Pendas, so to speak? Pendas age. All right. Pendas age. Okay, he's still 19. Yeah, he's still very young. And Jorgensen is 22. So and they with goalkeepers they do age like fine wine. The older they become, the better they be. But they have to be playing to be more to yeah. To you know, honestly, it's not yeah. If you're not playing, you're not gonna get better because you don't get the chance to learn to make mistakes and learn and become better. If that makes sense, I think Pendas is 19. Yeah, he's 19. Thank you for that information. Yes, people keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes still do the likes do go a long way, Bobby. Okay, okay. Okay, just let me know. But I think you shouldn't have troubles joining, in my opinion. Kusila, all right. Okay, let's see if that happens. If Czech is in goal right now, the fans will want him out just like Arsenal fans did. Sanchez is not a bad stopper, which remains his it's not a bad stopper, which remains his primary objective. I think maybe you need to rephrase that. I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to say there. Sanchez is a good shot stopper. He can be, but because he's like you can say he hasn't performed consistently. One game, yeah, he's the best thing since sliced bread. The next one, we want him gone as soon as possible. And I'm quite sure you understand my point there. 24 likes, we can do a lot better than that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes that do go a long way. And we have a GFC. Go! Nice to see you, Mr. Gavin. I do hope you're doing well. Nightbot has refused to work, which makes it difficult for me because I'll be reading a lot. I tried to trigger the commands to um, direct people to the YouTube channels of members of the community, and he has refused to respond accordingly. And that's not today isn't the first time. It's been happening for nearly a month right now. Maybe I need to recreate the commands. I'm not sure. I'm going to try that to see whether that will fix the issue. Brentford and Everton, bogey teams. Do you think we'll beat them? Houston. I'm going to say something I've said before. Signs are good. The signs are good. Why do I say that the signs are good? The signs are good. You should be, or you shouldn't be. You shouldn't fear Charity FC. I did say a few days ago that I think Charity FC is not in good health. And today I did say hopefully Charity FC passes away and we'll stop hearing about Charity FC. The signs are good, but we don't have enough sample size yet. Until the rest of the games we play in December, we'll get a good. We will have a good knowledge with regards to whether Charity FC is in good health, whether is in poor health, whether struggle, or maybe past. But if you get, I hope you can understand what I mean by that. Okay, that's by the way. Bobby is saying that Chelsea may simply need to be patient and develop the current center backs, and that's going to take time and some errors too. Yeah, it's only natural that when you have inexperienced players or young players, mistakes are bound to happen, and that's the only way they'd learn. They'd have to play. You'd have to give them game time to play, make mistakes, and learn from their mistakes. That's how they get better. That's how they gain valuable experience. And I'm quite sure if the manager, for instance, if he again, if he talks to or talks with Levi Colwell and remind him that irrespective of how much space you think you have on the pitch, you should always advance towards the ball. You should always move towards the ball. Don't wait for the ball to get to you. You're not on the pitch alone. When you do that, you risk the opposition player coming from nowhere and take the ball from you. That's such a mistake. I think if he watches the game again, he'd learned that had he made again, if he made a move towards the ball, it would have been difficult for Dominic Solanke to get ahead of him and then score. Yeah, but he didn't even make the slightest of moves. He stood there. He was static. He was waiting for the ball to get to him. But especially from defenders, you don't do such. Irrespective of how much space you think you have, you make a move towards the ball. You advance towards the ball to ensure that the opposition doesn't get ahead of you and do something with it. But that's either way we move on. Bobby, thanks. Let's see what happens. We may well end up not signing another defender, but I think it's difficult to see us not doing that. That's because the Sassi, in my opinion, he'd push to leave, depending on how many games he gets to play by the time we get to January transfer window. If he doesn't play enough, he'd ask to leave. And I'd rather we sign another centre back and sell this to see for reasons I've explained before. We like to play out from the back, and the Sassi is a player. It didn't take me much to realize that. Yeah, he panics under pressure. Under the slightest of pressure, he makes a primary school level mistakes. I hope you understand. Sorry, I got an email and I was paying attention to see if to be sure that's something that it's not something that I need to respond to right immediately. Yes. I'm not sure what has happened. I'm not sure. Is either again? I'm not, but it does work for some commands though. For instance, it still works for rain. Yeah, I'm gonna do rain. It works for Vic. When I saw Vic in the chat, I triggered Vic's command and it worked. And I think Rain's command worked also. And I've changed the level, membership level that you need to be to be able to trigger. I changed a lot of them to everyone, which means anybody can trigger them. Still, it has refused to work, so I'm not sure what to make of it. But thank you, Rain. Nice to see you, Rain. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you. Is the Sassi similar to Kazuma? Ooh, that's an excellent question. But here's the no. Kazuma, he's actually a very, very technically gifted defender. Zuma is excellent on the ball, has good passing range. I'd take Zuma over the Sassi. Yeah, Zuma he's more technically gifted than the Sassi, in my opinion. The Sassi, if anything, more experienced, or are they about the same age? How old is Katsuma right now? Yeah, Zuma should be around 25. Zuma. But Vic, honestly, yeah, 24. Zuma age, yep, 24. Let me check again to be sure. Ooh, no. That's the wrong thing. Kazuma is 30. So he's actually older than the Sassi. Sorry about that. But here's the thing, I will take him over the Sassi. He's he's more technically gifted than the Sassi. But that's a small opinion anyway. Um not even not even just mathematically. Yeah, you can argue. Yeah, all mathematically, period. But you know why we've been arguing that we're not in the title race. So I don't want to get into that. Otherwise I'll be arguing with myself. Yeah, we're second. But here's the thing. You'd see the sort of mistakes we made yesterday showed why you'd be correct. Anybody would be correct to say that we're not in the title race. Why? One incident I remember, I remember that quite vividly. We did set an offside trap. It worked, but here's the thing: none of our not even our midfielders paid attention to the fact that Son ran from nearly the midfield area, ran to was again run to the ball, and since the referee you play. Here's the thing: what professionals should do, what experienced players do, they play to the tune of the whistle. And our defensive line did not play to the tune of the whistle. They saw who was it that was offside at the time. They saw that, and that's it for them. They did not pay attention to the run that Son made from nearly the midfield area, and they didn't track him. We were lucky he missed. That's the sort of thing you get from players that are not experienced enough. Experienced players, they play to the tune of the whistle. I know younger players are not players you can say that are not experienced as much do pay attention, do play to the tune of the whistle. But the truth remains, Son knew that probably our defensive line wouldn't be paying attention to him because their focus was on the guy who was offside. But they forgot the referee, and the guy that was offside didn't touch the ball. They interfere with the play. So Son made a run from the from midfield area, and our defenders were just moping at him, like looking at him as if he was on TV, that sort of thing. And the Levi Colwell example, where he was waiting for the ball to get to him and didn't make a move to get to the ball. He didn't advance towards the ball. Had he done that, the slightest move from where he stood before Salenke scored that goal, the slightest movement towards the ball could have been enough to stop Salenke. Because had he done that, Salenke, he'd have to go through Levi Colwell to get to the ball and then score. So that's where experience comes in. Those sort of things can be the difference between you winning the league and you finishing 16th, 6th, 4th, whatever. But you get the point. So experience is key. But I'd take Zuma over the CC. In my opinion, and sorry, to Zuma isn't 25. I did see the wrong information there. Zuma is 30. And Vic, thank you for the correction there. Let's see what we have here. Kazuma, he was excellent for us up until that ACL injury. I think he also wanted to be playing. I don't think we were in a hurry to sell him. I don't think the club Chelsea really wanted to sell Kazuma, but he wanted to be playing, which led to us deciding, okay, if you want to leave, now we can get money from you. We just move you on. Yeah, if that makes sense. Kazuma, yeah, is starting at 26. Yeah, thank you for that correction. Big up to you, to Victor Adedoyin. Nice to see you. Bro, Zuma is good in the air and overlapping too. Yeah, he's a good ball carrier too. Thank you for mentioning that. He's a good ball carrier. He is good at dribbling. I know at the time he made a few mistakes, but you know how Chelsea fans, how they judge players. A single mistake is enough for them to say, "Yeah, that's it. You're a bad player." Kazuma, and take him over the CC. Because ball playing, he's a better ball playing defender than the CC is. And I can't say this enough. The CC, under the slightest of pressure, makes primary school level mistakes. Vic, I'm never gonna talk to you again. Just leave me the heck alone and move on. Jabulani is a Mario here saying Zamalo. Malo. I don't yeah, let me try and pronounce it like South African. It's encouraging that now our players shoot hard and accurate at goals. Let's keep encouraging them to keep shooting and follow up in order to get us uh Maya goes like the one Sancho and Enzo scored. Yep, we have worrisome defenders, but I don't think we have any defender who cannot develop, nor any center back who cannot get better. Of course, they will. They have talent, they have the potential, but they're not quite there yet. If anything, I'd say our defensive line is the main reason why a lot of people are arguing. Yeah, we're definitely not title contenders, but mathematically we're there. Where we're at in the table, we're there. The disparity in points between us and the tabletop team, we're in the title race. But beyond those, factors I just mentioned, uh, in terms of where we are with the measure of progress we've made with regards to the project, we're not quite there. We're not quite there, but we're getting there even quicker than I did expect we will, in my opinion. But that's, by the way, thank you for that. Tuchel actually liked Zuma, in my opinion, but he didn't suit his system, and because Zuma wasn't good on the ball. Who told you Zuma wasn't good on the ball? Zuma is good on the ball. Coaches, I already said I wasn't going to read that, and I nearly did. But that's, by the way, people. 153 people following the show, but only 23 of those on YouTube. If you're following the show, do us a favor, take a second, drop a like on the video, and also do subscribe to the channel if you haven't. For those of you who are following the show on X, do us a favor, take a second, drop a like on the video for us on X, or follow our X account to help us get to 5,000 followers as soon as possible. Would really appreciate that. Give me a second here. Let me create a banner here. Let me create a banner. 1 second. All right, that guy there. YouTube, let me spell it correctly. 29 likes, people. Let's get the likes up. One sec, 1 sec. Yep, that's like 10 seconds. And I'm still screaming 1 sec. 1 second. Anyway, I'm still saying it. All right, let's go. Let's go, people. Let's go. Let's go. All right, I want this guy to be shown. Yeah, thank you. Comments. One more comment there. Yeah, Vic, go back to work and leave me alone. He wanted to be playing. He wasn't. You remember, he wasn't playing a lot at the time, so he wanted to be playing. Hope Arsenal finish below us. It's a possibility. We just have to keep winning. We just have to, you can say, go about our business and not worry too much about them. And when we get to meet them at the Emirates, try to beat them. And I think by the time we play them away, I think we'll be good. We'll be good enough to beat them. But that is my opinion anyway. Anything else here? Anything else? Let's see. Just people, Chelsea fans praising Cole Palmer. Um, Nothing else. So let's get to this. Heston, I think a lot of you, if you were here at the start of the show, if you joined at the start of the show, I did say we won, we deserved to win, and I'm not gonna say, and I'm not gonna change that. But we could have considered twice as much as many goals that we considered on that day. Why they had a few clear cut chances that they missed. Okay, let's count them now. I'm not trying to downplay how well we did on the day. It was a brilliant performance. What made it a brilliant performance? First of all, we were 2 goals down. Was it under 11 minutes or so? Or under 11 minutes? But I'll check. We'll look at it, the numbers, so that I don't gaslight you. But we, even after going down 2 goals, earlier minutes of early into the game, we were still playing as if the game was just starting. The players didn't sulk. They were playing as if they knew we were gonna win that. Yep, as if, yeah, they were never going. Chelsea was never gonna lose that. But I knew it was gonna be a long day. I knew it was gonna be one of those games where there'd be lots of goals. I knew we were gonna concede. How many, I didn't know. But it was a long day, really. You know, if we're being honest to ourselves, and I'm quite sure a lot of Chelsea fans were concerned that, yeah, probably after going down 2 goals, a lot of people thought that was it. We're definitely losing that game. But I didn't. I just knew it was going to be a long day, but we will eventually get a good result. I didn't know we were going to win, but I thought we were going to get at least a draw. I never thought at any time thought we were going to lose that. So Heston, they could have scored they could have scored at least 4 goals. They scored 2, right? There was one by Udogie that flashed by the goalpost. The other one by Son, the one that he beat the offside trap, and our defenders weren't paying attention. The focus was on the individual who was that I can't quite remember who exactly that was offside at the time, but not experienced enough to know that Son isn't offside, and the guy that were trying to keep offside did not interfere with the play. So they were just looking at Son as if he was on TV. That could have been 4 in total. Yeah, I'm quite sure I'm missing a few of the good chances that they had to score against us. But that's, by the way, we did what we had to do. After going down by 2 goals, with the players didn't sulk. Nope, they kept playing. In fact, it was as if the game was just starting, and it paid off. So that showed reflective of the players. You could mental strength, mentality overall, if that's what the language you prefer. So going behind against any team, um, not going to be that much of a concern. Uh, concern for me. I don't pray that it happens. But even if that happens, uh, you can say you'd be confident enough that eventually we get the goals back and even win the game. But I'm gonna say it the way I did say it before. We pay their bride price every year. We go to their stadium. But let's see what else we have here. Let's start looking at the match. So we consider the first 2 goals. Yep, under 11 minutes. The 5th minute, Solanke, and then Kokluski in the 11th minute. And two of those goals were uh, we consider 2 of those goals because Kukurea he slipped on 2 occasions, and well, yeah, unfortunate really for him. But the rest of the game he was excellent. Once he changed his boot, he did very well, and I'm glad. And that's something else that showed again something else to learn about. We learned about Kukurea is that such mistakes don't get to him. 2 slips leading to us conceding goals. He still played. I finished the game as if nothing happened. That shows you his mental. That's something you can say. That's reflective of it. The measure of his mental strength. What a player he is, and I'm happy we won. Had we lost the game, I don't think a lot of people would blame him actually because it was clear. The replay showed, yeah, he did sleep on 2 occasions. But thank goodness we won eventually. So, yep. So they scored also. Then we scored after the 11. They scored in the 5th minute and in the 11th minute, and we were 2 goals down. Then in the 17th minute, that delicious finish from Sancho. He was what's the language I'm looking for? He wanted that goal. He was determined to score at that moment. The way he drove with the ball, cut back in, and it wasn't really about power, but it was low and hard at the same time. But about placement, about placing it where the goalkeeper did all. The goalkeeper did all he could, but still couldn't reach it. A good finish, and then followed by Palmer, a penalty in the 61st minute. Yep, another penalty in the 84th minute. Yep, and then Enzo Fernandez's left-footed finish. That was beautiful from him too. He was, he was determined also to put that away. He wasn't going to miss it. So it was just the positives include the fact that yeah we went 2 goals down and still at the time was playing as if the game was just starting. And the determination you could see from the way the players applied themselves before Enzo. Did you see how hard Enzo Fernandez hit that ball with his left foot? even though he's predominantly right-footed. The goal, what's his name? Jadon Sancho's goal, which sparked the comeback, actually was excellent, well taken. He wasn't going to miss. He was determined to score, and he did. So I'm happy. The fact that, yeah, we could see that the players are maturing. They're developing a mental strength by each game, and the sky is the limit, in my opinion. But that's, by the way, let's move on here. Let's look at what the numbers tell us. In terms of ball possession, 62 for us, 38 for Tottenham. Um, Expected goals, 2.83. Wow. Yeah. So I was correct to say that we could have considered a lot more goals. Expected goals for them, 2.90. You see that? So we could have considered a lot more due to our defensive issues, known defensive issues, and lack of experience in our defensive line. We could have considered a lot more. Total shots, 17 in total, to theirs 14. Big chances, 3 to theirs 6 chances. Yeah. So that confirms the fact that they could have scored a lot more than us. Yep, big chances. 6 in total to us 3. Give me 1 second. Let me take care of this quickly. And disclaimer quickly, I'm not downplaying how well we played. I'm not trying to downplay how how well we played on the day. We played really, really well, irrespective of whether stats show that they could have scored a lot more, or eye tests show that they could have scored a lot more goals than us. The fact is that we won. They didn't take their chances. They weren't clinical on the day. We were more clinical, albeit two spot kicks. But yeah, that in itself isn't easy, actually. The truth remains, we won. We showed mental strength. We showed commitment. We were the better side. And if we're going by eye test alone, but it was it was a good game of football for the neutrals, really. But that's, by the way. Let's see. Hopefully, does PTSD ever go away? I am having back-to-back symptoms from our bad defense. Um, I think we'll be all right. Houston, if it makes you happy, we have a manager that's good at recognizing we have issues and where those issues lie, and finding solutions to them. It doesn't take Enzo Maresca too much time to find solutions to the whatever issue he recognizes. So I think he will find a solution to that. The reason we're actually, in my opinion, seeing the Enzo Fernandez, Romeo Lavia, and Moises Caicedo. To be more specific, the pairing of Moises Caicedo and Romeo Lavia is to help shield our defensive line, because there's no need playing with two traditional more. Well, I mean, they've been playing like two traditional sixes at Chelsea. No reason to play two traditional sixes where one alone will suffice, and then you get the opportunity to add one more attacking player. It just doesn't make sense. But we're doing that because we know we have issues defensively. And when the manager started doing that, I was able to recognize that, yeah, that's the case. And people at the time thought that was the end of Enzo Fernandez. No, it wasn't. Clearly now you can see that, yeah, you're wrong. Dante is probably still sleeping. Yeah, the time zone is an issue. And he was everywhere yesterday after the game, so he deserves to get some rest. Arsenal have turned from playing great football to Stoke City set piece. Because yeah, they Houston, not a bad thing that they are able to get goals from set piece, but the issue is that they thought their issues lie just in their defensive aspect of their games. They were busy signing more defensive players. Julian Timber, Ricardo Cafiori. Who else did they sign in the attacking area? They didn't pay attention to the fact that, yeah, they need they need reinforcements in that area. So now I think they probably too late. I don't think the changes will come soon enough to help them uh, to continue pushing for the title until the end of the season. Probably they will drop a lot more points as the season progresses. But that's by the way, Zuma wasn't going to start at right centre back ahead of Chalobah, Christensen, Asby, James. He would have been their fifth choice, a right centre back on the Tuchel. Possibly, yeah. So as I said, he wanted to be playing at the time, and I think he did indicate he wanted to leave. So the club had no option than to let him go. More likes, people, more likes. Keep dropping the likes in the stream. Big up to you to the princes here, as the band would say. Nice to see you, bro. I do hope you're doing well. Happy to be in the house today after overwhelming joy. Yeah, we got our joy back. The manager is doing well. We have our man. He's To me, he's demonstrating that yeah, he's the man for the job, and he's an excellent tactical mind. If that makes sense. One thing that I like about Kukurea was the ability to pick himself up on time. That's what makes him great. I really do love this comment. Pick himself up. That was the language I was looking for. But I did say at the time he didn't sulk. He played as if nothing happened. That shows you how strong he is mentally. Some players, after one mistake, you'd see them sulking, usually leading to the manager subbing them off. But in the case of Kukurea, he actually performed better. He was actually playing better after that issue. So this counts for a delicious comment in my opinion. So I need to upload. We need to. Yeah, I like that. How do I celebrate this comment? How do I celebrate this delicious comment? Confetti, maybe. Yeah, applause and confetti and applause. Yeah, that will work. That's it. Maybe to the clap. Yep, I do like that comment. Jokes aside, excellent comment indeed. What else do we have here? And we have the blue tiff again. Big up to you, bro. I do hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join. Kuku's strength is in his hair. Samson. So, so Kukurea is Samson, right? So if you cut his hair, he's done. Is that what you're saying? Kukure's strength is in his hair. Big up to you too. Udogia was the player in the offside position. Okay, thank you for reminding me. But yeah, our players they played like primary school kids there. It would have been infuriating had some put that away. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to how. Uh, I think the fans would murder our players for that. But I'm just happy that yeah, it- we didn't concede from that situation. But that's by the way, yeah, Udogie is Samson according to the Bluetooth game. Uh, I can't stop laughing. But that's by the way. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show this particular morning. What else do we have here? Give me a second here. Let me add the panelists here. The legendary Bobby is in the house, and Ty has joined us. I thought I did get a, I did get a notification telling me that Ty was hosting that you have a show starting in a few minutes. I don't know what happened. I didn't know. Again, we scheduled at the same time. I think about the same time, or if anything, a few minutes apart. Let's see. Maresca behind Ateta. What else do we have here? Much love. Sincerely, I felt the passion through the match, even when Jackson was substituted. Yeah, very obvious that he wasn't happy. Yeah, I mean, he wasn't happy with himself, not with the manager, not because he was being subbed off. He had a bad game on the day, in my opinion. Didn't do it wasn't his day. Let's just leave it at that because he's a good player and we know that. What else we have here? Enzo impressed me most with his passing. His passing, he's become more physical than usual. And I've told people Enzo can be physical if he wants to, but in most cases he opts to draw a foul, which is very common with South American players, as in my opinion. Let's see that Enzo Fernandez goal was a beauty, left-footed, even though he is not he's primarily right-footed, but he was determined to make sure that gets into the back of the net, and he did. Jackson wanted him to score. I mean, it's yeah. I know you wanted him to score a hat trick, but yeah, he's not alone on the pitch. He had defenders to deal with to get a chance to score. Coach, also please check out for Isaac Hein, the central defender for Atalanta in Italy, and he plays the same position for Sweden. Okay, I will research him, but I know nothing about him right now. And please, we can get up to 50 likes. We're 32 likes. Let's keep dropping the likes on the stream. The likes that do go a long way, and that's my bro. Knee Zion. Click the three dots to his name. Click go to YouTube channel. Get there, please. Subscribe to his YouTube channel. Let's help him get to 5K subscribers as soon as possible. It's time for Chowa to move on. Yeah, let's see what happens. Anybody here that I haven't said hello to, I can read everything in the chat. Let's bring Bobby, get him up to par. We talked about Enzo Maresca impressed by Jadon Sancho, so I don't know. It'd be maybe we should start discussing Jadon Sancho's performance on the day. I think it makes sense. Bobby, I want to start with you. Big up and thank you for joining us. I hope you are doing well. Jadon Sancho, he was brilliant on the day. Yep. Wow, he has good vision, good dribbler. He dribbles very well. Again, he's one of the most productive dribblers we have at the club. He doesn't just dribble for the sake of it. Doesn't just passes the ball to his teammates if there's no need for him to try to beat his man. And the goal was just he was determined to make sure that goes into the back of the net, and he did. And that you could argue that started our charge. What's the language I'm looking for? That kick-started the comeback, maybe for lack of a more specific language. But Bobby, let's hear you. Jadon Sancho for I think at most 25 million, even if it's 30 million, still a bargain in my opinion. But let's hear you, Bobby.
Sorry, coach, I missed the question.
Jadon
Um,
Sancho, how well he did and how much we paid for him.
yeah, look, Sancho was for me, if not Enzo Fernandez, then it has to be him that was the player of the match. Um, Cole Palmer is Cole Palmer. He's always brilliant, but by his exceptionally high standards, I don't think he was the player of the match. Sancho did very well yesterday. You have to hand that to him. It certainly surprised me. I thought he was a dribbler. I don't know. You see, this is why you can't just take what people say um, totally on board
Mhm.
because you need to see a player for yourself in order to have an opinion. I hadn't really watched Sancho, not at Chelsea, and so I don't know whether it was on this platform or another platform. Someone was saying, "Oh, he doesn't have pace," and I took it that he doesn't
I
have
think I've heard a
pace.
lot of people say that too.
Yeah, and I took it foolishly upon all my experience with football. I thought, okay, let me listen to the consensus and go along with it. Well, it certainly is not true. He does have pace, and there's a lot more to his game than he was given credit for. You know, I liked how he said, look, he knows he has a lot to prove. Probably he does, but he's not doing a bad job with proving it, certainly with that game. But hey, look, it was one game. Yeah? One game doesn't fully give a judgment of you, but it helps. He did nothing wrong, he did everything right. He was one of our best players on the day. He was certainly one of our best attackers. I think for 90 minutes he was consistently good.
I mean,
Palmer
you can
came.
argue he led our front. He led our front line.
I believe he did. I think Palmer became good later on in the second half. Neto was no real threat. I think Udogi gave him a lot of problems. And Jackson, I don't know. You see, Jackson is somebody who optically is deceptive. He does things that people tend not to notice because he's playing the striker role and they give him a bad rap. So I would just say Jackson was average. He was quiet, but sometimes Jackson is quiet because he's keeping the centre backs quiet with his closing and his movement, and he hustles, he harries, he's always keeping them looking backwards. So, look, the day belonged to Chelsea's midfielders. Our midfielders gave us that day against Spurs yesterday. They were immaculate. They really were brilliant. And they took the game to them and away from them. I don't care what any of the pundits were saying about who they should have changed the way they play, they should have done this or done that. I think our midfielders would have had the answer to them. And Maresca was very tactical. Uh, Lavia was on a yellow card. He had a head injury as well, which I'm surprised not many people made more out of it because I thought it was a straight red right in front of Anthony Scumbag Taylor, who should be sacked along with his buddy Coot. And yeah, I just think he took him off and then brought on two inverters in the form of Gusto and Cucurella. We gave them problems everywhere today. They had yesterday. They had no answer to Chelsea yesterday, and we have to take those flowers. You know, the good thing is he's proving to have answers for every single challenge he has faced so far, and long may that continue. They're deservedly where they are, but they must continue. I mean, I had an old Arsenal friend of mine, a buddy of mine, who's an Arsenal fan. Now they're wishing for injuries. I'm like, well, you lot will get the injuries first. There's still Saka and Odegaard due a long-term time off with injuries, and your centre
Mm.
backs. But you know, they're all getting into that territory. They're worried about Chelsea, and that's where we want to be. We want them to be worried. We want them to feel harassed. We are playing with a squad. I'm glad it's beginning to click now. I heard Glenn Hoddle talking about Chelsea's project is a squad project. No, they're not talking about 11. Chelsea are beyond the first 11. And people are beginning to realize that now. You know, they made fun of Chelsea, talking about A team, B team. We have A team. That's all we have. And our team is rotational. And that's how Chelsea are for the current, for the long term, and for the medium term. Because that's the only way to play football these days. There's too many commitments on the players, and we're stealing a march in that sense. But hey, look, we can be proud of what we've done. We've got the Alana trip in on Thursday, which is going to be interesting to say the least. Then we have the difficult home game against Brentford. You know, Brentford
I
are
heard
very
that will be
physical.
some distance to travel, right?
Yeah, after that distance to is it Azerbaijan, then all the way back
Astana. Astana.
Astana, yeah, and all the way back, and then facing physical Brentford. There's going to be a number of players that won't make that trip. I don't imagine we'll see um, Palmer for sure. I don't know how many of the midfielders will go. Maybe Caicedo, but I would advise he sits on the bench. Um, you know, there are many of the players that played against Spurs that will not make that trip because of Brentford coming, who are always a challenge to us. We've got to be careful with that game. We really have to be careful with that game. But he's proved that he can face all the different challenges that come his way, and this is certainly going to be a different challenge. A long trip to the other side of the continents, a long trip back to face Brentford. I hope it's on Sunday. If it's a Saturday game, that's going to be really tough. Can you check that? Is that a Sunday game or
Which one?
Brentford?
Let me check. Just
It's
one
got to be
second.
Sunday.
Most likely, given the fact that we're playing on Thursday, so most likely will be
Yeah, yeah,
Sunday.
we need it to be on Sunday, really.
Yeah, let me check quickly. Chelsea
Oh,
schedule.
you checked already.
No,
Just
I have.
Google it. Chelsea v Brentford. Google it, coach.
Yeah, it's. That's what I'm looking at. It'll be on Sunday.
What time?
11 a.m. my time, so that should be late. It's an evening game for you.
Okay, well, all the same, after that long trip, we got to be careful. And that's where the squad comes in. So don't let anybody with their mind games and propaganda start trying to tell you, "Oh, Chelsea have too many players." Then they start talking of A team, B team. Then they start saying this person is upset because he's not playing. It's all garbage. They're all
Mm.
playing once a week, and we need that rotation seriously. We're in December now. This is the real um, crux end of the season. Approaching, well, the business end is at the end of the season, but this is a vital period, a period that many teams fall over, and we have struggled with in the past. So we got to be very wise.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Ty. I'll come to you in a bit. Let's catch up with a few of what we have in the chat. And Derek is saying here, for everyone that says we need a CB, y'all got to realize the CBs we have are actually good. They need to improve and get more consistent minutes and experience. Yep. They have to play, make mistakes, learn from their mistakes. That's how you're going to experience and become better. But Houston, I think we may well need to mix it up. We lack leadership in that back line. And that's a huge problem. But it's up to the manager. I trust him if he believes that actually eventually these crop of the CBs will get better and then lead, learn to lead. Do then yeah, I'm all for it. But let's see what the club does. But do I think we need to sign at least one experienced CB? I say yes, do it. If the manager doesn't trust Tosin that much, then we need to sign one more experienced CB. That's a small opinion. Chances are we'd be okay with the CBs we have. But I've seen enough to know that, yeah, lack of experience. Houston, and I don't know if you heard me when I said that if you see people saying, yeah, we're not title contenders, some of them are saying that because probably the sort of issues we have in our defensive line, the sort of, you can say, primary school mistakes we make. I've explained one, the one which is the one that Son read it very well. He realized that the focus of our defensive line at the time was on was it the Bluetooth again did mention that it was that guy with the Nigerian name, but I think he represents Italy. Was on that particular player. They weren't paying attention to Son, even as Son started running towards our box. They still didn't realize, okay, Son is not going to be off because Udogie, who was off, didn't interfere with the play. That's experience. And Levi Colwell waiting for the ball to come for him and didn't make a move towards the ball. That's where experience comes in. Those um little mistakes, or maybe whatever you want to call it, could be the
Yeah,
difference between you finishing in the top four or
that was
finishing
very
mid-table.
that was very bad, and we were fortunate not to be punished with that naivety.
Exactly.
So it
Yeah.
was really stupid.
So Thiago Silva, had he been on the bench, on the pitch, for instance, I'm not saying we should get him back. He would have read it and see that Son is taking advantage of the fact that the focus of our defensive line was on Udogie. He'd make a move to stop him. But our defense up. Listen, even in primary school, I get it. You're taught to play to the tune of the whistle. But at this level, especially, you should play to the tune of the whistle. They didn't. They realize, okay, Udogie was off, and that's it. That could be the difference between us finishing top four, finishing sixth, seventh, or eighth. But it's up to the manager to decide whether he wants a new CV or not. This current Chelsea squad is cooking big time. We just need Gyökeres to sharpen. I think I've addressed that before. You had it there, and I've addressed it. Let's see. I don't think we have issues in the attacking area. As you can say, as blunt we seem to be on occasions, and sometimes we're the most clinical. Sometimes we're the most um, potent. Sometimes the most important attacking line. I'm not sure how it's to, but you get the gist. I honestly do not think we need to sign another number nine, but if the manager feels like he wants one more, that's fine by me. I'm not going to question that. I've learned to trust the hierarchy, the scouting department, the sporting directors. They know what they're doing. What more
Most
does one need to
definitely.
see to realize that they know what they're doing? I don't think it's nothing else. I like how you clap. Okay, thank
Man.
you. Glad you enjoy it. So let's hear from Ty. Kushila, the problem or getting a new CP, they have to be not only overall experience, but also within the system we're playing. Yeah, I do agree with you. Yeah. In primary school, Kachila was taught to just go away, man. Leave me alone. Ty, let's get your thoughts. Jadon Sancho, his performance on the day, he was just amazing. He was, you could argue, had he won the man of the match, I'd say, yeah, he deserves it. But Cole Palmer, I'd say deserved. You could say not bad. Not a bad selection for that award because yeah, he earned us one of the penalty kicks. He put away both, and also what else did he do on that day again? I mean, he came alive towards the end of the game, and that's enough, though, in my opinion, to win to enough for him to win man of the match. But that's just my opinion. But Ty, let's hear you, Jadon Sancho.
Yeah, Jadon Sancho is a he's a player that we obviously know that as I heard Bobby say earlier, um he's a player that we've heard a controversy be around. He obviously had to go back on loan to Dortmund after he was signed from Manchester United from there and all of that. And he said it. He said that he has a lot. He knows that he has a lot to prove. He
Mhm.
appreciates the fact that the club and the other players I don't remember the word that he used, but essentially they made him feel at home and all of that. And that's what you need. That's it. And I mean, I know Bobby, for example. When we saw the lineup yesterday, he was saying that he didn't understand why he was playing on that left hand side, and the perception that he's slow. But the thing is, a lot of the times people think that a player is slow because they don't do a lot of running, but that doesn't mean that they don't have pace, and that's something that to some extent he proved that he's not as slow as people perceive him to be. But
Mhm.
at the same time, yeah, he did tremendous. I think if he got man of the match, I think he would have deserved it. He was actually one of the brighter players in that first half, in particular. Obviously, he
He
scored.
didn't look like he was willing to lose that game.
Yeah, yeah, he definitely looked determined, and as I was saying, he's the one that kept the momentum going after that. He scored a goal and all of that, and as he said, they had the belief that they would actually come back and win the game. Whether or not they're saying that because they won in the end, or if that was actually the belief, I'm gonna go more so to say that that's just the belief that they had to give in to that theory of mentality being there and all of that. But
Mhm.
yeah, he did tremendous. It's good. I'm happy that he followed up his first goal for the club in the Premier League, rather, with another goal against Spurs, and I'm happy that he understands the importance of it, and it's a good narrative. Obviously, talking about the price tag and the fact that it's an obligation to buy means that we have to sign him whether or not he improves or he declines. We're gonna have to sign him anyways because it's an obligation. So I mean, if he continues to perform like this, 25 million is a bargain because considering how much United paid for him initially from Dortmund, and they're selling him and all of that, it, it's it would be a positive, and it would be good business. And to take a little dig at Man United, obviously we sold the Mason Mount, and not to banter the player himself, but in terms of who's been more beneficial to their team, Sancho has been more beneficial because Mason Mount has been injured for the most part.
And in all honesty, I don't think he's had a bad game since he joined us. And I wanted to add something to what you said. The reason people think he's not quick, um, it's because he's an intelligent player. He's not that sort of player that unnecessarily try to drag you into uh competing with them in terms of you could say racing against him. He uses his dribble skills in most cases to delete you, and what he does in most cases is just come in front of you, making it difficult for you to get around to actually get the ball from him, because he operates that way and doesn't always try to drag people into racing against him. Is the reason why people think it's not quick. You've seen on the pitch that if need be, he has pace. I'm not saying he's the quickest, but he's not as slow as a lot of people make out. You can say believe he is, in my opinion. So let's look at his numbers and see what we can learn from his performance on the day. He's rated 8.4. I think it's only Cole Palmer that has a better rating than him. And just quickly, if you look at the rating of our defensive players, even our goalkeeper, you'd see, yeah, that's where the only area we have a problem. Maybe Jackson 6.2. He didn't finish the game, and we cannot tell whether that had the manager again had he finished the game that he'd get a better rating. But that's by the way. Let's look at Sancho's number. He played 90 minutes, one goal. Total shots, 3 in total. Accurate passes, 47 out of 54, 87%. That's excellent. Chances created, 2. Expected XG, that's his XG is 0.39. So you could say, yeah, he outperformed his XG. Expected goals on target, 1.28. Expected assists, 0.22. Let's see, fantasy points, we don't need that. Shot accuracy, 2 out of 2, 100%. Blocked shots, 1. Touches in total, 66. Touches in opposition box, 12 in total. Successful dribbles, 3 out of 4, 75%. Whenever I read successful dribbles for any player, I remember Raheem Sterling. He hardly ever gets to 50% dribble success rate. Passes into the final third, 3 in total. Accurate crosses, 0 out of 1 attempt. Accurate long balls, 0 out of 1 attempt. Offsides, 1 in total. Anything else important here? Defense, okay. Clearances, none. Interceptions, none. Defensive actions, none. Recoveries, 5. I mean, given credit for that. Dribbled past 1 time. Duels won 3. Duels lost 3. Ground duels 1, 3 out of 5, 60%. That's huge, in my opinion. Or aerial duels 1, okay, 0 out of 1 attempt. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Anybody else want to say anything about Sancho, or should we look at other players? I want us to look at Enzo Fernandez. I think he was brilliant on the day. And the truth remains, things that people have already said about him. He's looking leaner. He's looking fitter, maybe if that's the language you prefer. He runs more than often. He's become more physical than usual, although I'd argue he's always been physical, but often opt to draw a foul rather than muscle it out with much bigger players and all that. But he was just brilliant on the day. Bobby, would you like us to look at his numbers before you talk about him, or do you want to talk about him? Then we can look at his numbers last.
Um, yeah, we can look at his numbers.
Okay, that will help.
I'm not going to drop, but I might need to be quiet for a little while. I'll let you know when I'm back.
All right, all right. Then once I'm done looking at his numbers, I'll bring in Ty to speak.
Okay.
Yeah. So he played for 90 minutes, goals 1, total shots 3 in total. Accurate passes 49 out of 51, 96%. Wow, that's excellent. And majority of the passes in question, in my opinion, are all progressive passes. Not like majority of them are safe option passes. You know that because they didn't give him too much space. Actually, I think they fouled him a lot of times, but we'll get to that. Chances created 1, expected goals. His XG 0.13. Expected goals on target 0.17. Let's see, expected assists 0.35. We don't need fantasy points. Shot accuracy 1 out of 2, 50%, not bad. Blocked shots, 1 touches, 75 in total touches in opposition box, a 3. Successful dribbles, 1 out of 1 attempt, 100%. Passes into the final third, 3, because he lives there. That's why the number isn't high. Accurate crosses, 0 out of 5 attempts. I think corner kicks count. That's why the volume is high there and it's 0. Accurate long balls, 5 out of 6, 83%. That's excellent. Corners, 3. Yeah. So 3 corners, all part of the accurate crosses. He was dispossessed 1 time. Non-penalty XG 0.13. Tackles 1 out of 2 attempts, 50%. Clearances 1. Interceptions 2. Recoveries, defensive actions 7 in total. Recoveries 3. Dribbled past 1 time. Dues 1. 5 dues lost 5. Grand dues 1. 5 out of 9. Not bad. 56%. And any other thing important, he was fouled 2 times. 2 times, not many times as I thought. Fouls committed 2 in total, but he had an excellent game. Ty, your thoughts? Enzo Fernandez, his performance on the day, I think he was excellent. He's looking leaner, or fitter, if that's the language you prefer. His runs quite a lot. Sometimes you see him on the left hand side, right hand side, defensive area. And I think on 2 occasions he was a lot enough to save us from conceding, from passing mistakes. One from Badiashile. Someone else made the passing mistake also, that he read the game very well and he was quick to do something to pick up the ball and then passes backwards so that we can start afresh. But let's say you tie. For me, excellent game for him.
Yeah, yeah. We can talk about the fact that Enzo Fernandez has turned a new page. Literally in every shape and form, he's turned a new page. Um, and that's the most fascinating thing about it. And his performance against Spurs was excellent as well, I'd say. The fact is, I myself, I've said it before that I don't to do defensive work. That's not per se his greatest attribute. But yeah, as you
Mm.
said, he dropped deep. He was able to win back the ball. He did his best, and all of that. So he did tremendous. I mean, the fact that Lavia came off and then he was able to drop deep, and support Casado as somewhat as a roaming between a 6 and as an 8 as well. Um, that was good. It showed that even though Maresca said in the past that he may not be the most physical and all of that, there's still the capabilities that he can. There's still the possibility that he can show you that capability of doing more, and that's what he did. He ensured that he helped the team in more ways than one. Obviously, he got that goal just before Cole Palmer confirmed the win, and obviously that goal ended up being a very important goal as well. So, I mean, yeah, it was he had a great performance, passing wise, movement wise, and all of that. So it was a good game for him.
Yeah, he had a good game. And I wanted us to talk about this. I think the pairing of Levi Colwell and yeah, Benwa Badashile, I think he was wrong. Um, no, no, it's not balanced at all. They practically no leader, no leader. Not they didn't leave a cover too hesitant to pass the ball, and when he makes a mistake from that situation, he starts, you could say, trying to blame it on his teammates not opening up. You could see, if you watch the game, you could see there were plenty of options for him to release the ball quickly, but he's usually comes across as a bit too hesitant, in my opinion, and takes him a while. And then by the time he decides to pass the ball, the only option would be to go backwards. There was one that who was it? It was his son, nearly nicked the ball off of him. He was lucky that he stretched his feet and passed it backwards to Robert Sanchez. And then for Badia Shile, I'm not sure what has happened to this guy. He did well enough, but for me, he was poor. Look at it. The rating. of Badiashile, Colwell, Kukurea, in his case, the two slips is the reason why he's rated 6.3. But if even at that, he's rated, he has a better rating than Colwell. Actually, that didn't make the sort of mistake he made. But the truth remains, the rating of our defensive line showed you that's where we have a serious issue, and I think the manager knows that. I think the pairing for me was poor. Uh, Tolson and one of the two centre backs that started on the day, because it would have been better in my opinion. Tolson reads the game very well. He hardly misplaces a pass, but yeah, I'm not sure why the manager opted for the pairing yesterday. Even in transition, when it's more of a back three, it's the same thing. Badiashile did struggle quite a lot. But let's hear you, Ty. The defensive line, before we even start looking at their numbers, I think that was that pairing didn't work. It didn't work really.
Yeah. It didn't work for more than one reason. One of them is definitely what you said. There was no leadership.
No leader.
People's, yeah, there was no leadership at all. And people say that Levi Cole is a captain in the making, which could happen, yes, in terms of being vocal. But I mean, at the same time, you need to be able to take accountability. And as you just said, usually he doesn't do that. He tends to, I think him and Sanchez are friends for that reason. They don't take accountability. So I think in that sense, yeah, but as you said, the leadership was missing. It was lacked. And I don't know if it's a case where Maresca doesn't trust Tosin, because I think Tosin would have been a good player to come in to replace Fafana, or I
I
was.
thought he was going to make a change. Actually, I thought it wasn't
Yeah,
because he was clear that we were struggling. But go ahead.
yeah, and then obviously, because I made mention of it yesterday in the pre-game show, that I had my concern about you playing two left-footed centre backs, and
Yep.
then obviously
Yep.
one of them are playing on the right hand side, and obviously you know what's going to happen. It's the same with if you play a right-footed player on the left hand side, they're going to have to
Mm.
keep trying to get the ball onto their left foot or their right foot. So I think in that case that was problematic, and then we obviously saw that because he had to do that, mixing the fact that Spurs were physically coming at us and they were trying to press us and trying to force mistakes, and eventually we did make those mistakes early on. That obviously didn't work out the way that Maresca probably thought he would have, and that's the most concerning part. But as we obviously saw, he made a change, albeit not in terms of the centre back, which I thought he should have as well. But in the end, he made a decision. It worked out in the end. But I think he needs to actually consider utilizing other centre backs. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens, but I don't know. I don't think that's something you should try again, especially against Brentford on the weekend, because they're a high pressing team as well, and they're physical as well. So definitely you don't want to see the same replication of what Spurs did. And as much as Brentford are not at the same amount of goals as we are, or in terms of scoring a lot of goals, they've scored relatively good goals, and they can be clinical as well. So that's something that has to be considered. But definitely the lack of leadership wasn't there, and if, as you said, if we had Silva, definitely at least one of those goals would not have happened. So
Yep.
think I think that for sure we need to work on actually having leadership there. And I don't know what we can do. I think Tosin is the most experienced centre back that we have currently. But as I said, I don't know if Maresca favors him in to play in the Premier League.
Yeah, here's here's the thing, Ty. Just look at our defensive the rating of our defensive players. Look at
Yeah,
their defensive
City
players
scored
too.
four.
The same pattern. You see that? The guy on the
Yeah.
right, Pedro Pollo, he has a good rating. Caicedo
Hmm.
has a good rating, but the rest and the goalkeeper, um, yeah, kind of the same thing. So it was a game of, you could say, defensive. How should I phrase it? Defensive, you could say catastrophe maybe. But Jesus Christ, I'm concerned. That pairing of Colwell and Badiashile didn't just work. And even with the presence of Lavia and Caicedo, still they struggled. And Houston, I don't think the system worked just as it did You could say the application or maybe the approach worked as it did against Aston Villa. Uh, was probably down to the absence of Fafana, who you say was he brought balance. That may well be the case. It didn't work. Casedi
Yeah,
struggled, even though he had a good game, but he wasn't as effective as he became when he was brought in to operate in the central area.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and I mean that is something that most likely will happen as well, especially when you have a different, even if it's one, because it's a case where it's experimental still, and it's only happened once prior, and I mean, and obviously the next difference is the fact that Villa weren't pressing us constantly like Spurs were. Spurs come at you. They tried to force a mistake out of you, and they tried to use the
But
physical
we knew that was going to
aspect.
happen because
Right.
Southampton they had success doing that. So you remember, I, and Dante, we did talk about how definitely they tried to do that,
Yeah.
and it
But that's
worked.
the thing. Yeah. Which is one of the strangest things to me, because I'm saying surely they know that they can't hesitate on the ball, and that's the thing. You're not offered that chance to calculate every move like that. And I mean, I think some of those passes were panicking, especially for the first goal, where Levi Cole made the pass to Kukurea, because he was trying to get the ball off, because it was a case where they tried to close down Levi Cole, and I think it was two players on him, and then obviously yeah, that player was also marking Kukurea as well, and the slip happened and all that. So I think that's the strangest thing as well, because I'm saying you should know that they're a physical team, and in the first minute alone, the first couple of seconds, there was a mistake, and I'm saying, okay, that should have been enough of an indication to you that, okay, the application of me trying to make a pass here and there, I can't do that. And we saw lots of panicking. Buddy Shoe, for example, giving the ball right into, who was it? I think it was Brennan Johnson, or was it? I don't remember who exactly, but he made a pass, tried to get it to Lavia, and then some Spurs player intercepted it, and they were in on goal, and they just about missed. But that's the thing. That's the most concerning thing. A physical team like Spurs, you know that you can't be doing what they were doing, but that's exactly what happened. But the change happened. Maresca learned from his mistake, and he recognized that the application that he tried to use, it simply couldn't work with the personnel that was being utilized in that defense.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how to really define Badia Sheila is what I believe is his problem. I think he's a bit hesitant too, or maybe I don't know. Let's look at this. Accurate passes 49 out of 59, 83%. Again, it sounds good, but yeah, he was awful with his passes. In my Some of them were you can see close call, nearly intercepted by the opposition. Let me see, touches 68 in total touches in opposition box. Now, yeah, we know why that is the case. Passes into the final first seven. That's a high. Accurate long balls, 0 out of 2 attempts. Dispossessed, 0 times. Okay. Tackles, 1, 2 out of 4, 50%. Not bad. Clearances, 2. Header clearances, 2. Interceptions, 1. Defensive actions, 9 in total. Recoveries, 5. What else do we have here? Ground duels, 1, 4 out of 6. He made, there was one excellent tackle actually that I thought, well, we're going to consider at the time. I think it was inside the 18-yard box actually. He got it cleanly, turned around and passed it. Was it to Cucurella? Aerial duels 1, 2 out of 3, 67%. Relatively good game, but eye test says otherwise, in my opinion. I don't think I wouldn't say he can. He was. I wouldn't say he had a good game, but he did okay. But was could have made mistakes that could have led to us conceding goals. But I'm glad we won. But Ty, here's something else I wanted us to talk about here. Eye test alone doesn't tell the whole story
Yeah.
because yeah, they could have scored up to 4 goals, and I've mentioned some of them specifically. Udogie, he's a flash just by the goalpost. Um, what else is them? And then Son, that one. There was another one that Son meant to be a coiler, but it was just too high because I don't think Sanchez was covering his near post, and it was if it wasn't target, I don't think he'd be able to do anything about it. Probably would have been rooted, and the ball would go into the net. Heston here, they have 2.90 xg, and we finished with 2.83. So they finished with yep 0 points. That should be 0 point. My math is not matching. 0.07, but that's something. So which means that the game could have ended in a draw, honestly.
Yeah, he could have.
And
He could have.
yeah, and see here, they finished with a total of 13 shots. We finished with 17. They had six big chances. We had three. Yeah. So had it now the fact we were what we the ref awarded us two penalties. Let's assume yeah, we finished our chances and they finished theirs. They I mean, it wouldn't have been a bad result. You could say it wouldn't have been.
Which I'm so keen to get into this conversation at this point. I was
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear
rushing
you,
back.
Bobby.
Look, first of all, before I talk about the defense and
Mm.
Maresca, you're using terms like the ref awarded us two penalties.
Deserved penalties. I have to be honest.
Of course, they were deserved.
Hmm.
They blatantly fouled players in places where they shouldn't have. In fact, you can't even blame their coach for their stupidity. It was
And
what the players did.
you could also see from
But,
the players they knew immediately that it was going to be a penalty. They didn't even
well, of
contest it.
course. And
Yeah.
then, this issue of, oh, they missed this, they missed that. Well, thank goodness, well, football isn't played on stats. If you see the number of chances we miss, I think we had even hit the post in that game. That's not what it is. If you look at the overall performance, we were the better team. And there's something here that we're all missing. We're all constantly trying to shape the idea of what we're doing rather
Mhm.
than listen to what Maresca himself is saying. And this is partly why Maresca is saying, look, we're not ready to challenge yet. He's not saying we can't challenge, and he's not saying it's impossible for us to win the league, but he knows his remit. And whether we like it or not, his remit is there to develop these players. Those defenders, he's developing them. When he says they're not ready, and it's clear. But is he going to suddenly stop and buy this Thiago Silva type centre back and all that? I don't think that's going to happen. In fact, I can almost tell you certainly that's not going to happen. He's going to develop what he has. What is missing a lot for him, who he's missing, I'm sure, is Wesley Fofana. But Fofana's injury record is a problem. So he's persisting. If you notice, he persists with Badia
Go ahead,
Shield,
Bobby. I'll be back in just a second. Go ahead.
where
In a few
people
seconds.
where people often murder Badia Shield. Oh, he's so bad, he's so this, he's so that. But Maresca doesn't care. He's there to bring the best out of him. Same with Madueke. He's developing these players. So where they're talking of, oh, he should do this, oh, we need this, we need that. We know what we need, but he's going to take what we have to get what we need. And that's why it's going to take a bit more time. That's just the reality. And he sees that. Even Sancho had a great game, but he needed a little time to start to play to that potential, as did Enzo. Even Caicedo, the same thing. So there are many things being fixed. The only position I'm concerned about, and I can't really see the fix, is Sanchez. Sanchez, is he ancient for a goalkeeper? No, he's what, 27, 28 years old. But he's been in the Premier League for 5 seasons. And I can't really see much room for him to develop. Yeah, I mean, he does some good things. Often even does some great things. But it's what he doesn't do that becomes the problem. So that's the only area. But all the other areas, these players can and probably will get better. There's some naivety in the centre back positions. If you notice, he uses centre backs that are just on the cusp of being good players, but they do stupid things. You're very right. That move where we were busy watching you doggy rather than somebody tracking
Son.
Song's run
Hmm.
was an act of naivety. But you know what? To be fair, as great as the midfielders were, that job was probably down to Caicedo or Enzo. I've forgotten who was the midfielder closer to the situation, busy putting his hand up. I think it was even Enzo, rather than tracking the runner. But they will learn from this sort of thing. This is why he says this. And, he keeps saying, the owners didn't tell him to finish top four. The owners told him to improve the team. And yes, he knows it is best for his career and for his longevity at Chelsea if he at least finishes top four. But he also knows his job is there to develop. So he's not claiming anything, particularly this season, with the players he has, because he knows they're a work in progress. That's what's happening at Chelsea at the moment. And we keep wishing for something we're not going to get. He's going to work with these guys. And he's done a good job so far. But clearly, defensively, there's more to be done. And just to add to your point, coach, before I drop,
Hmm.
is probably because of the developing process of the defense that there's a lot of talk as to our readiness to challenge. And if you take that into consideration, that's not bad talk. I mean, that's slightly realistic. Can we, if we keep getting results, end up challenging? Absolutely, we have the quality to do it. The jury's out as to whether the quality will superride the experience to do it.
Yeah, the truth remains. Yeah, the truth is we're not. You can say we're not quite there yet to say for certainly that yeah we're challenging. And here's the thing I want to say quickly, Bobby. I'm not trying to downplay how well we did against Spurs on their carpet. I'm just saying, listen, the truth remains. The manager himself, yeah, we won, and he'd be happy we won. More importantly, he'd be happy that we were able to overcome a two-goal deficit. We were two goals down under 11 minutes, and still we were
If
playing as if the game just started. We didn't sulk. We didn't. We. If you watch the players, you'd be confident. Yeah, there's no way Chelsea are losing this. But to get better, the
coach,
manager he'd have to look at those numbers and say, "Look, we considered so many chances.
even at
That's
that,
how. That's the
coach.
only way to get better." He told
Well,
them,
of
"Look,
course he's
yeah,
doing
but go
that.
ahead. What?
Even
Go ahead, Bobby."
he's doing that, and even at that, when he was questioned, he said, "Look, what part of the reason he's saying they're not ready yet is that he said Man City, Arsenal, and Liverpool would not have made the error of going two goals down in that way." And he was asked about Cucurella's footwear. He said, "Look, these players, if there's one thing he's not there to do, is to teach them how to put on the right footwear. They come out before the game, they feel the grass,
That's funny, really.
yeah, I mean, and he's right. They
Mhm.
feel the grass and they should know they have numerous pairs of boots. They should know what footwear to wear. And this is what he's saying. He's saying these are the things he needs to train out of these players. These are the things he needs to sort out. Cucurella should have known better. We were fortunate we got out of it and we got out of it in a good way, but we shouldn't have been in that position in the first place, more in particular from one of our more senior players. So we're learning. We're learning. Will we get it right? I believe we will. But the defense is the one area that is giving people doubts, as you rightly pointed out yourself.
Yeah, I think we all know where our problems lie. So, but he's a smart manager. I know I've said that already. He's good at. Uh, he doesn't let issues we see obvious issues we have linger for a while. He once he sees them, he fixes them. If you've been paying attention, you could see what he's doing to solve our problems. yeah, I mean, these things happen. The good thing is that he's capable of learning from them and doing something about it. But Ty, let's get your opinion. You've heard Bobby's opinion on what the numbers tell us versus what we saw on that day. We won, and I'm glad we won. More positives on our side than them. That they, yeah, they were leading 2 goals by 2 goals and conceded 4 in total and end up losing the game. We won and a deserved win for us, but eye test doesn't tell the whole story. There's numbers tell us that yeah, we have work to do. That's not to say that's not downplaying how well we played on the day, but let's hear your time.
I mean, I think it is important that I get it because I'm not a person that loves to use stats. I believe that stats don't it's interchangeable. Stats don't tell the full story, and the eye test doesn't tell the full story either.
The compliment.
Yeah, but they do complement. So that's what so you can't really divorce them from each other, or you can't isolate them because at the end of the day, what the eye test won't show you, the stats will. And I personally believe that it's important that you do look at that at those type of stats. All the stats don't matter in terms of successful pass and all of that. That doesn't matter. But if you talk about the fact that there's opportunities, big chances that a team missed, you have to take that into consideration, because you have to say, okay, if you made a mistake against a more clinical team, would you have even got a win? And obviously, we're trying to hold on to optimism, and we're trying to be optimistic. But eventually, this team is going to go through a bad run. It's about when it will be, and you have to take into consideration the fact that is it going to be the next match? Will it be in the next week? It depends on what happens, because that's technically what happens. Nothing ever goes wrong without there being signs that things are going to go wrong. That's always what happens. So I get what Bobby's saying, and obviously we can't be complaining because we actually won a very entertaining match, a very high pressing match as well. But at the same time, there's instances where if Spurs had scored before we even got our second goal, we don't know what could have happened. That's the thing,
Do,
and that and
do
that's
they get a chance to be more specific?
yeah. So I
Because that was the
mean,
first chance they had. Yeah, but he missed it. He went flashed by the cross by the goalpost. Go ahead.
right. So I get it. I mean, we won the match. That's what should matter. But at the same time, we have to look at the fact of, okay, Fofana wasn't playing, and we looked as if we were going to crack even further under pressure. So you have to take into consideration what's going to happen next. Can we continue to be utilizing Badiashile and Cole? Does this mean that Disasi has to come in? Does this mean that Tosin has to play? What's the next plan? So and that's the thing, and that's what Maresca loves to do. So as Bobby made a good point about ensuring that he's molding these players, and he has to look at what he has, because you can't speak about what you don't have. Only a crazy person would do that. But it also comes into play the fact that if you look at what you have and you recognize that what you tried did not work, it's going to show you that, okay, we won the match, but we must change this so that we don't have a similar situation, because nobody wants to be winning ugly every game. I mean, it happens, but if you can avoid doing something or having to do something when it's not necessary, then you do that. So definitely the stats matter in terms of that aspect, but it should not overshadow, or it shouldn't be what we focus on because we won the match. But I'm sure you're not doing that. It's just for the sake of the conversation as well.
Yeah, and for the sake of the conversation, plus that's how we get better. You don't,
Yeah.
you get better by realizing that yeah, you had this issue. 50% of solving a problem is realizing that one exists in the first place. So I appreciate
My
you, Ty.
friend,
For yeah, go ahead, Bobby.
uh, I that is 100%, and I can assure you, he would not let that slide. He's more than aware.
He's not that type of manager. Yeah.
No, he's not. He's more than aware of these lapsities, and the point I'm making is that in his developmental process, he will absorb that. You know, he has Jackson was improving anyway. He's taken Jackson to another level because Jackson's finishing has improved even further. Madueke, yes, he's lost form a little bit. He's working on him. Modric, he's improving him slowly. The centre backs slowly. he knows that he has a job on his hands. You know, these things don't always happen overnight. It takes time. Look at Enzo. Look at Caicedo. And of course, he has to manage their injuries. And of course, he has to manage the squad depth of players that are also going to be utilized. One thing I did find extremely disappointing was when Madueke did come on, his usually better defensive play seemed to go out of the window at a time where we needed him to be more defensively alert,
Mhm.
considering that we were making sure we didn't slip our lead. So he's not going to ignore all those things at all. I don't believe so anyway. Maybe he will. If he did, if he does, it's he's stupid too. But you know, you have to remember he's dealing with young players, and young players, as for those of us that have had kids up to that age, you know that sometimes you have to tell them things more than once before it sinks in, especially when you only have a week's reprieve and football moves quickly. You know, some
Yeah,
of those passes by
reputation is key to teaching kids.
yeah, you know, one of some of those passes by Badiashile, who himself has improved marginally to what he was, they have to be cut out. You know, the message of why leave that space between you and Colwell. You know, Colwell also needs to learn things, and so he knows he's still teaching these boys, and he knows that look, they're doing well. But like, you know, he looks at it, thinking, we got to do this, we got to do that, and he's saying it. He's saying it to the media, saying, "Look, we still have a lot of work to do." What also saves us and is saving him is that these are players of the highest quality, and their quality comes through in games. There was no doubt that against Spurs they were the better team, despite their errors, despite their lapsities. They polish off those lapsities and errors, they're going to be a nightmare for anybody because that's a very good team in the making.
Yeah, it is indeed talent, some talent there, and as you can see, the manager he's doing a very good job at bringing the best out of those players. They've all improved one way or the other. I know you did call Badiashile's improvement marginally. I don't think he's improved. I think actually he hasn't regained full form like he showed on the Potter. But that's a small opinion anyway. Or maybe I'm expecting so much of him that even that I'm not you could say recognizing the fact that he's improved too. But I get where you're coming from, Bobby. And guys, relax. We're second. Yeah, we're second. But if you're the manager and you just look at it, we're second. It doesn't matter whether we made mistakes during the game. We dominated. We were the better side overall. But I just doesn't tell you everything. Look at the numbers. Will tell you, yeah, we do have we still have work to do, and we all know that even before that game. But we're happy. We won. Let's see. Badiashile showed a lot of grit in that game. He did well, but I know he can do a lot better. Um, Okay. Then penalties. Yeah, I agree. I said earned, deserved. I think that was the language I used. I'm not saying we didn't. We just well at the time we're just doing some mathematics. So yeah, numbers show that yeah they could have scored a lot more. Even I tested with I test alone, we know they could have scored a lot more. But we won. We were the better side, irrespective of whatever mistakes that our players made during the game. Okay, it was Neto. Okay, thank you. Let's see what else we have here. Hi to you too, Chelsea. Boy, 1234. Nice to see you. I do hope you're doing well. And Kimso is here. Kimso, nice to see you. Badishile was awful. It depends on who you ask. I wouldn't go to the extent of saying that he was awful. He did well enough, but there were some mistakes that could have led to us conceding goals. These defenders will cost us the league. We're not. Let's not talk about winning the league now. And Salmino will to fix our defensive line. I wouldn't say I know him that well. I've seen him play because we were interested in signing him. So subsequent games after the emergence of the rumors that we were
Anselmino is
interested in
just
signing him, I
18.
did watch him for around 45 minutes or so, and some clips online. Um, he seems to be good, but I need to watch him even more. Go ahead, Bobby. You were saying something.
He's 18 years old. He's never played in Europe before, not to mention the Premier League. I
So
wouldn't put
exactly,
that
he's not going to be
in
the
my
one to
mind.
solve our problems. Go ahead, Bobby.
But I wouldn't think of that right now.
Mm. All right. Let's see. What else do we have here? This says, Bobby, do you think if this team wins, it should be considered the best Premier League, the best in the Premier League history, considering it's mainly an under 25 team? Okay, Ty, let's start with you. Bobby is not here. Just give While you do that, there's something I need to take care of quickly. Go ahead, Ty. Let's hear you. What do you think?
So Bobby D see when he should be considered the best family history continues million. Uh no. I don't
Ty goes, ah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no
I'm
no
listening to you.
but I mean no, I wouldn't say it depends on what happens. If this team wins, as in if they wins the Premier League, is that what they're talking about?
Yeah, yeah, I think that's what he's talking about. They're talking about, yeah.
I mean, it would be. It depends on how it's done. I wouldn't say. I can't just. I wouldn't say that it's simply the best in history. I get it. I get it on the 25 team, but I mean, if you win it dirty, then I mean, it can't be the best because there's actually been better wins. There've been dominance in other aspects, whether or not people want to say there was no challengers or whatever for other teams. Liverpool's one somewhat maybe say it's overrated. People say that, but I wouldn't say that it's the best because if we win it, if you win by 2 points, then that wouldn't be the best in the Premier League history. I get it. A young team does it, but I wouldn't say it's the best because that would be discrediting the other ones that actually had a lot of perseverance and pushing and all of that.
Hmm.
So definitely not.
All right, give me 1 second. Yeah, I'm working on something. Bobby, so the question on the screen was for you, but I had to get Ty to address it how he can to his best before you can. Since you're back, let's hear from you, Bobby. Are you there, or did we lose him, Ty?
I'm on my
Bobby,
phone and I can't see the question.
but let me read it for you. Bobby, do you think if this team wins, let me remix that a bit, wins the Premier League, the team should be considered the best in the Premier League history, considering that it's mainly comprised of players under 25?
Look, the team, if they win the Premier League, will receive a lot of accolades. The best in Premier League history? Who knows? It will be a remarkable achievement, that's for sure, when you
Hmm.
consider the age and the stage of the team. And people will be copying their blueprint, and they will definitely be marked in the second season, and we'll have to see their real quality because second season syndrome can kick in. But I think because it is based on a squad and not a team, they will survive a lot of things. Look, if they win the Premier League, it's going to be a remarkable achievement. Absolutely. There'll be rave reviews on them for for years because I don't, it's been kind of done before, but I don't think it's been done before with a
Who?
full squad
Mhm.
of young players like this. The Man United's rebuild with the Beckhams and the Scholes and the Nevilles.
They were that
They,
young?
yeah, they were young. I mean, not all of them. The team still had your Roy Keanes and your Gary Pallisters and Steve Bruce. I mean, and indeed Peter Schmeichel. They had old players, but back then there were at least starting in a lot of games 5 or 6 of them young. Certainly the Beckhams of this world, and people were talking a lot about that. Since then, nobody else of that level of youth has even come close. So if these boys do it, and it can happen, nobody's saying it can't happen. It's just that we can't talk about that yet because there's so long to go. They're so young. There's so much work to do. Yeah, they've survived Spurs. Then for me, another real big test will be Brentford at home after coming back from Astana. That's going to be a massive test. Knowing the kind of team Brentford are, knowing the kind of manager they have, who's very um,
Pragmatic.
pragmatic,
Yeah.
and somebody that we wanted ourselves. So at one point, so it's going to be interesting. Can we deal with them? I think we can. They have Bromo, who's dangerous, a couple of big guys in midfield and in defense. I think, can they deal with the fluidity of our attack? I think it will give them big problems. And I think if we play the three midfielders that we started with Spurs, that will give them problems also. But that will mean Caicedo um, inverting and dropping as the right back, and who knows. There's a lot we have to do with the squad. That Astana trip is where the squad is going to be very, very important, and he will need to make about 11 changes in view of what's coming up on the weekend. I can't see any choice in that. Are they? I know nothing about Astana as a team.
I
Um,
don't either.
that they're probably good in their own right, but I think our squad depth should be enough to deal with them. We'll find out.
Yeah, well, we'll find out indeed. Let's see. Buy a world class defender in general, according to Kimso. But Kimso, nice to see you more importantly. I remember Fabrizio Romano saying that Chelsea will explore the centre back market. In was it? Did this say in January or did this say specifically with regard what window? Either in the winter or summer transfer window, but we'll find out. Bring in Ramos in January, experience and one Titus is free. Yeah, we don't want another prima donna. What do I call it? Badiashile is a problem. I don't want to blame him. I know there's a good player in there. Hopefully he improves. I see no improvement in our series. Okay, let me just leave it at that. What else do we have here? Anything else? If you have any questions in the comment section, drop it. Or Bobby, if you want us to address anything specifically or tie the same thing with you, let me see any player we should look at here. Any player, any player. Who? I don't think we have any. Casado did very well. Was more effective when he was when he came started operating in the middle area rather than this invert from wing back. Cole Palmer. Let's look at his numbers. Actually, I don't know how Nato got 7.6 rating. I think he did okay, but that wasn't his game really. He struggled to beat his man, and I think he was doing it unnecessarily sometimes, in my opinion. Looked like he wasn't fully fit. Maybe it's just me, but I'll come back to you guys. So we'll talk about Pedro Neto. Cole Palmer played 89 minutes. He got 2 goals, total shots 4 in total. Accurate passes 33 out of 42, 79%. Chances created 4, penalties 1. Expected goals 1.68, expected goals on target 1.83. Expected assists 0.67. What else do we need here to look at here? Attack shot accuracy 3 out of 3. That's good. Big chances missed 1. That's the cross. Who was that cross? Who did that cross was from? Who was that cross from that he miskicked? But that's by the way. Anyway, bloodshot 1. Touches.
I think it
Uh,
was Enzo.
was it Enzo's
I
cross? Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
so.
It was Enzo. Yeah, yeah. How you'd bet your money on Kopama putting that away, but he's human after all. I could I couldn't believe it. Let's see. Accurate crosses 3 out of 6. Did he take corners on the day? We'll find out. Accurate long balls 2 out of 3, 67%. Corner 6 in total. Okay. Dispossessed 1 time. So he had a good game, but not still didn't measure his standards. Duels won 8, duels lost 2. Grand duels won 8 out of 10, 80%. That's actually good. For aerial duels, he didn't attempt any. He was fouled 4 times. He had a good game overall, but still, we know had it not been for the goals, would be discussing how he didn't have a good game. But he's that's such a player, irrespective of how bad he's playing. You'd leave him on the pitch uh, to because yeah, he can just come alive and then do something, and boom, he's the difference between you winning the game and
you
losing
know
that
what's
game.
funny, coach?
Sorry,
You know what's funny about this, coach? The foot. I think sometimes
yeah.
this can be of positive. This can be of benefit and not be a benefit at the same time, because a lot of people these days will say people quote unquote stat pad based on goals and assists. But if you look back at past players, there's a lot of times when players like Lampard and all of that, they didn't have good games until and but what happened is that they score goals and you say okay, they have a good game. But now, because of these additional statistics that exist, you
Mm,
say that a player did not do good because of this. Because there's a lot of games where Lampard only scored a goal because he scored a penalty, or Drogba scored a goal because it was a penalty. Those things happen, and I don't know why people pretend like scoring a penalty is something that everybody does, or it's not a goal. I don't understand it, but that's it, and it goes back to the fact of back then, social media wasn't something of such great popularity where everybody's coming together and engaging and utilizing all of these stuff. So I think
mhm.
that's the downside to all of this as well.
Yeah, there's a downside to it, unfortunately. Just like you could say the same thing for. But Enzo Fernandez is adding goals to his game now, goals and assists. Yeah, but even before he started adding goals and more assists to his game, it takes those that understand football to understand. Yeah, there's something he brings to the table. Even though he doesn't score or create a lot of chances, he's still important. But adding those things, yeah, it'd be easier now to say, yeah, he had a good game. But before, you start an argument by saying Enzo Fernandez had a good good game. So yeah, I agree with you. Anybody else? You have any other questions? And you're in the comment section, drop it. Bobby, let's hear you called Palmer on the day. I don't know if you've spoken about him. I don't think you have, but you did mention him when you talked about him winning the man of the match. That you thought he should be someone
Yeah,
else. But
look,
yeah.
Cole Palmer, by his very high standards, did not have the usual excellent game he has. But Ty's right. You know, sometimes it happens that way in football, and it
Hmm.
happened to him. I'm also of the persuasion that Neto didn't have a good game, and you see that also
No, he
highlights
did.
something. Spurs are not a Spurs aren't a walkover. We're not going to go to White Hart Lane and play Spurs and think we're going to
Hmm.
have it all our way. You know, we're not. There's going to be, you know, they have some really good players, and it just so happened that Udogi had Neto in his pocket. He outmuscled him on several occasions. He wasn't beaten by him. It happens. Now
You
Neto
pocketed
is
him.
going to
Yep, it
have
happened.
to, yeah, Neto is going to have to remember that. And next time he comes up against him, he will come up with ways to beat him, either look for someone to play more one-twos around him and so on. You know, Udogi's a good player. He's very
But Bobby,
aggressive.
you see the 1-2
Um,
aspect. You see the 1-2 aspect. That's what
yeah,
makes Sancho a smarter player. He doesn't
yeah,
always
Sancho does
look
that.
to, yeah, doesn't always look to drag you into racing against him. He finds a player, goes 1-2, make a good run, and then before you know, you've been deleted without so effortlessly. You've been deleted
Yeah,
effortlessly. But
I mean,
Pedro likes to
yeah, but
drag
you
you
know,
into racing against
look,
him.
before we sort of get carried away, yes,
Mm,
Sancho did that, and he did that well in that game. You know, there'll be other games where things may need some other way of playing. You know,
yeah, yeah,
Sancho's
yeah.
excellent; he did really well. But this is what happens in football. You know, the just as Ty said, yet again, I go back to the defenders. I people keep saying, "Oh, our defense is this, our defense is that." Our defense, I think we have now conceded the second least number of goals. I think in the past few games, we've conceded the least number of goals. We conceded three, and everybody else has conceded more.
But Bobby, the
So
truth
there
is, in
must
terms
be,
of the goal concession, the bar is low now. It's not a good thing that we've considered as much as we consider, if we're being honest. The bar is low. A lot of teams are conceding a lot. But go ahead,
Well,
what you were saying.
whatever's the case,
Was still one
if a
of the
lot of
best, right?
teams are conceding a lot, there's a reason for that. You know, the strikers may be
Yeah.
better, the tactics may be better. There's a lot of reason, and there's also reason not to despair, considering that these boys are developing. It's not been all bad. I mean, there are times they do silly things like that offside nonsense. Even the
Mhm.
third goal, I blame the midfielders, really. That ball should have been snuffed out before Song got to it. But yet again, Song is a very, very good player. You know, Spurs have good players. That Kovacic, Song, Dominic, Solanke. You know, these are all good players. They're not a pushover team by any stretch of the imagination. So at home, they're going to have their chances. Now, if it had been the Chelsea strikers that missed the chances they did, we would be laying into them. You know, we'd be crucifying them. So I think it's all courses for courses. Um, Neto, okay, not the best of games for him. He wasn't terrible,
No,
you
he
know,
wasn't
but
terrible. No. Yeah.
you know, by his standards, not quite good enough. Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer's a marked man. He also things that people fail to really notice is that upon as quiet as he is, and I must say I overemphasize the fact that he didn't have a good game in my own little bid to take some pressure off of him. Um, the fact that he still finds space effortlessly when there's often two, maybe three players on him. In fact, the reason Enzo scored that third goal was because of Palmer having three players on him. He dribbled past them all, and there was space for Enzo. So you know it happens. These guys are good players. They are. Um, Playing in different challenges. They're developing, they're learning. Are they capable of winning the league? Of course they are. Are they favourites to win the league? Certainly not at this time because of all the developments we're going through. So Palmer against Spurs, second half, he was more present. First half, not so much. You know, that miss summed up his first half, really.
Mhm. Yeah, and Enzo Fernandez's awareness on that day was just something special. From picking up loose balls where one of our defenders misplaced the pass, and he out of nowhere comes in, collects it, and show we start afresh. Plus his awareness, because that wasn't a cross, that wasn't an intended cross by Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer he wanted to shoot, and then it deflected off Tottenham's player. But Enzo saw it and realized, yeah, that's an opportunity to score, and he wasn't going to miss it. If you because if you saw the determination, if you see the determination on his face, everything, the way he hit it with his left foot, actually, kudos to him. His awareness on that day was something special on another level, in my opinion. But yeah, Bobby, you're correct. We have a very good squad, talented squad. We're making excellent progress, good progress, ahead of time, in my opinion. I don't know, Dante, Bobby, and Ty. Anything else you guys want us to talk about? Otherwise, we call it a day. Not so much news hunt, and I haven't seen anything new there. We've addressed this picture here.
Right.
Nicholas Jackson ensuring that Enzo Fernandez didn't take off his shirt, which could have led to him being yellow carded. Nothing else here. We've addressed everything. We've looked at this
Yeah,
statistical
and
presentation. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah.
Sorry, coach, that's funny. And Nicholas Jackson, of all people, the person that collects yellow cards for fun,
That is what I'm
stopping
saying. You
someone
see,
from getting a yellow card.
Honestly, he
That is
did
funny.
good. Yeah, it's funny. Dude. He
Yeah, he
did good.
did,
And
but
Enzo
there was
realized what he was trying to do and then didn't take it off.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Because
just the
yellow cards,
irony to
you
it
do
all.
pay fines for it, right?
yeah.
Yeah, fines are paid
Yeah,
for
you
each
do.
yellow
Yeah,
card. Yeah. Go ahead, Ty.
I'm for there's one thing that I think people are celebrating. Apparently, Sanchez isn't suspended for the next Premier League match. So for persons who actually thought he was gonna get suspended, he's not suspended actually.
People wanted him suspended so that Jorgensen can. Yeah. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, because they're saying that that's the only way. It has to be something has to take him out of the squad for him to for a change to happen. That's the way it looks like.
Yeah, but it didn't happen. It was a good game, especially for neutrals. A long day for us Chelsea fans.
Yeah,
some people probably thought that's it. We were going to lose that one, but we won. Go ahead,
I,
Ty. You
I
wanted to
was
speak
I
before
was
you said?
I was one of those persons. I was one of those persons because I was on a watch along, and after I saw Kulusevski score the second goal, I was like, yeah, this is over, man. We're back to square one. That's how I felt because people. I see a lot of people saying that they felt confident and they knew we were gonna come back, but I don't know. Maybe it's the pessimism that I still have from the those seasons where we started off so well and then we had a good run of games and then boom, some quote unquote reality check happened. So I
Hmm.
definitely was in that number of, oh, maybe this is maybe this is a reality check that, oh, there's still some way to go and that we've exceeded expectations, but there's still things that we need to iron out. But we had the courage. The players didn't let their head drop. I think that's the difference between last season to this season. We looked like we're still up for it. And I guess, considering the fact that we conceded those two goals in the first 15 minutes, you had enough time to make a difference anyways.
Yeah, I do agree. Thank you so much, Ty. I appreciate you. And Bobby, I appreciate you finding the time to join me on the panel. Ty, thank you to you too. With that, we've come to the natural end of the show. I want to say thank you to Top S. Thank you to Mabas 05, Maya for what Top S. I haven't seen you in a while. I do hope you're okay. Who else was here? Vic, my bro, was here. And the beautiful game was also here. He's always listening. Prabla, well, the moment we're about to, anytime, every day, the moment we're about to round off, you'd see him say something. But nice to see you, my bro. Vic, also, all of you. And AB, Kim So. And if I missed your name, apologies. I'm only human. See you guys next time. And cheers. And quickly, a quick announcement from around 18th, 17th, or 18th. My studio will be down because I have to pack. That will be the last thing we'll move from the house to the where we're moving to. Yeah, we'll start the packing for a week plus right now. So, but my studio will be down for, you could say, a few days. I'm not sure how long. I'll try to see if I can still produce videos without my studio
Well,
equipment. I
arrange with
doubt.
Ty. That's the best time for Ty to be streaming, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
Rather than
Ty
clashing with
also
you
will be
like
streaming
today.
too. Yeah. Ty will be streaming, and if you can start doing the Blue Morning Show while I'm away on this channel too, that would be fine, you know. But that's it. I just wanted to let you guys know it would take about a week or more than a week. But if once we're done moving, the first thing I usually set up, even though my wife doesn't like that, is my studios. But it's not going to be long. So thank you to all of you. See you guys next time. God bless us all, and cheers.
Ice in my veins, I've been driving this train. Years in this lane, there's no stopping this flame. Cause I came to the game and I changed it to play how I like, rearranged it to my own domain. Yeah, I got what it takes, made lots of mistakes, taking shots, skipping breaks, feeling lost, feeling great, popping off, singing straight, never stopped, never changed. All the squad here to play, and I've got something to say, yeah. I work hard each and every day, I get lost in the words I say. I don't push pause, no, I push play. I won't stop till I make a change. I withdraw on the things I make. I turn flaws into flawless traits. I build tall, never capped in space. I won't stop till I hear him say, up again. I got tired out. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy. And silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders, like moving boulders just to get out of the home. It sucks, I've had enough, I don't wanna feel the stuck under the rug, all my problems that I shove. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. It sucks when you finally feel like giving up. Oh God, no luck, everything feels like you're sticky stuck. I'm lost, handcuffed to the bed where I sleep, don't give a fuck. Can't stop, unplug, feeling overwhelmed, I think I've had enough. Gotta find a way to get some energy, gotta find someone who's a good friend of me. I need purpose to make it all worth it, I'm still searching and I'm still learning. I want a life that's filled with memories, not a life with regret and frenemies. I need focus to keep me from hopeless psychosis if I keep moping. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I've been feeling weird, I can't seem to focus good enough, nothing's really clear, sometimes it could be a little tough. I just need to feel like the end's in sight for me, but let's be really real, anxiety can foggy all this stuff. I got nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper. Anxiety, filling up every space, no privacy. And silently, it could build and build until you finally see, whoa, it's taking over, damn no closure, moving closer. No exposure, I just wanna be a loner. Some can't stay sober, looking over all their shoulders, like